I like the change. Thank you to Tier 1 Jordan for suggesting that for us.
I'm still getting used to it.
I'm getting used to it, too, but it does sound good. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday to you. Ben and Woods back together again, and great to be here. Wanted to thank my partners over here, Ben and Paul. We are Ben and Woods. That is Ben and Paul for filling in for me yesterday when I was green around the gills and had to leave the show early. I'm at about 60%, 65%.
What were you when you left?
4%.
That's about what you looked like.
The drive home, dude. By the way, that's Paul Reindl, our executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Hello.
Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, to my left. Dude, when I got downstairs and I got in the car, I do this a lot. I put my hand up and I was shaking. I had no feeling in my legs whatsoever. And I felt like I was going to hurl at any second. So I cranked the window down. I didn't even put a podcast on. I didn't put you guys on. I had silence. I had complete and total, utter silence as I was driving home with my head like this. Just breathing in the cool air, the cool, crisp air. I made it home, and I walked into bed, and I fell immediately asleep. I slept for about 45 minutes hard, 50 minutes. I texted Hannah when I got up. Babe, could you please grab me some chicken noodle soup, some saltines, and some Sprite? And she said, no, I can't. I'm not in a position to. I have to come home and work. And I said, oh, fabulous. Thank you. And I will just go out and get it myself. So I got up begrudgingly, put the flip-flops on, and staggered down to Stater Brothers and got what I needed, went home. I ate like an entire row of saltines. Couldn't get any soup down yet, but saltines and Sprite. And I thought to myself, this is the good stuff right here. Eating saltines and Sprite when you don't feel good is really the good stuff.
So if you weren't with us at 9 o'clock yesterday, we had our manager's breakfast here at 97.3 The Fan, where our bosses treated us to omelet bar and pancakes and muffins and yogurt and bacon and hash browns. I mean, it was quite the spread. And no one else seemed to have any trouble. Not a single person reported gastric distress or any other ill effects from the breakfast. The omelet that I had was absolutely delicious. But Woods immediately, within, 30 minutes of eating? Even less. 10 minutes of eating.
Now, do you remember, and I don't think we did this on the air. Do you remember what I pulled out of it that we didn't say? Do you remember that?
Yes, I did.
And I showed you.
Yeah.
Do you think that had anything to do with it?
Maybe. Is there possible you ate some of it without realizing
Potentially, but I don't know. So we were sitting here and on the break, and I'm wolfing this thing down. By the way, thank you to the managers. It was a really nice gesture. I think maybe the ham went bad or something. I'm not sure. I don't know how many other people ate ham. But Ben was remarking at the exact time I bit down. He goes, God, this omelet is amazing. Like, it's so good. And I go, it really is. And I go, what the? And I reach into my mouth and I go, and I pull out a piece of plastic about 3 inches?
Yeah.
3 inches
like part
tall,
of a plastic bag.
3 inches wide. Now, it was not hard plastic. It wasn't like a plexiglass, but it also wasn't shrink wrap. It was somewhere in the middle.
Right.
And I went and pulled it out. I go, that's weird. And then ended up eating the yogurt. And then all of a sudden, we started talking about your crotch dangler. And
I wouldn't call it that. It was just
your crotch mole.
It's just a skin tag of some sort or a mole. It's not what people would be thinking of when you called it that.
What would they be thinking of?
Don't even want to know.
Your crotch hemorrhoid?
It's not some sort of debris.
I can't do this
it's not some sort
I can't
of
do this. Stop. Just stop. I wanted to vomit throughout most of yesterday's show.
Your wife said in the most unbelievably brilliant tweet, congratulations on your grossest show ever.
It was.
And I was lying in bed.
It was true.
Green with the bile, and I was laughing. I was like, oh my God, what a great tweet.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. It sucked, man. And then I got home, and I got those crackers down, and I went back to bed, and I just laid there, and then I had to, parent and stuff, and I finally get the kids down, and I just went back to bed, and I don't know. I mean, there's a decent chance I end up moving out soon because Hannah continues to get up at, now it's gone to 12:30 p.m. p.m. No, a.m.
really-
12:30 a.m.
How's Bo doing this morning?
He's fine.
Because I was looking
Should
at the
be
chat
fine. I saw that too.
right before the show started. Your wife Hannah, she chimes in on the YouTube chat and says, "Bo just told me I'm a rat with a ratty face who lives down in a disgusting hole. So that's chill."
I don't know where he gets this.
It's not even 6 a.m., Bo.
Yeah.
God.
Well, I think everyone around our house is a little
No
punchy,
wonder she gets up so early.
a little tired, but I can't do this much longer.
I am impressed by Hannah's commitment. I think
She
would
does
be really,
need to be committed.
I think if she could get before midnight, if you could start waking up before the next day is even actually technically started, that would be supremely impressive to me. Like 11:55 p.m. as the wake up call for the next day.
It's just terrible, dude.
She's stronger than me. I couldn't do it, but
It's terrible.
I get it.
I don't.
That's the downtime, I guess. If that's where you can get your personal time,
Well,
do what you got to do.
I twice this week I've been up at 12:30 like this. Oh, cool. Just 5.5 hours till showtime. Like it's a nightmare. So I walked out this morning. I go, this can't continue. I don't know what.
Well, you're getting up literally about the time I go to sleep.
It's
most nights.
crazy. And we have a great marriage, and I'm still madly in love with her and very attracted to her. But I looked at her this morning. I go, I don't know how much longer I can do this. I'm exhausted all the time. And she's like, well, what do you want to do? What are you going to do? I can't do anything. What am I going to sleep in a tent? We don't have any other room. I said I could come sleep on the couch, but you're going to wake me up anyway if you come out at 12:35. I may move into our closet. We have a pretty big walk-in closet that I can move into and just have a little cot. And I've definitely slept in worse places. So she says, I've never woken up at 12:30, so I'm not sure what you're saying. She asked, the 2 days this week, 12:30. And I've been up, I reached over, oh, she's not here. And then I'm like, cool, let's go watch some YouTube. Let's go watch some Instagram stuff.
Have you tried maybe staying up a little bit later? And even if someone gets up early, you'll still be tired enough to go back to sleep.
Off season, no baseball. What time are you usually falling asleep on average?
8.
See?
I can't stay up. What if she wakes me up at midnight again? And now I don't have a
But
decent...
maybe if you stayed up until like 9:30,
Check my
you
Fitbit.
would be more tired and stay asleep in the middle of the night.
Bro, it's brutal. It's brutal. So, anyway, if anybody has a very small one-bedroom for about $100 a month, I would love to rent it from you, preferably near my family, preferably on my street. I'll pay $100 a month. So that's what I can handle right now. Let me see. I'm looking at my sleep.
Will you provide, entertainment services for whoever is leasing out your room? Do a little extra
Entertainment
show for
services.
them, like a special
Like
post show
like a
or something?
podcast with them every day? Sure, I'll be happy to do content for them. I can't find my score hasn't uploaded yet, but I think it's like 15 minutes of REM sleep. So yeah, I feel a little bit better. I'm not as nauseous as I was. Still a little bit green and stuff, but I don't know.
Paulie is here with the largest suitcase I have seen in a very long
Yeah,
time.
Paulie's leaving for 3 weeks, I think. It is it's 5 feet tall. You're only going for a weekend, right?
4 days.
Yeah. 4 days.
Friday to Monday.
Paulie will be off on
Saturday,
Monday.
Sunday,
We'll have Italian Paul in here Monday morning. But you're leaving today. You'll be back Monday at some point.
Monday night. Yeah.
So 3 nights.
Yep.
3 nights. So
It's-
how many
it's
many
not-
outfits do you have in that enormous suitcase that you're taking with you?
Well, you need day and night.
Day and night.
So
Yeah, I got like
that's
5 or
6.
6.
Yeah.
Plus, we're going out to dinner, so I got a couple of different pairs of shoes. We're going hiking, so I needed shoes for that. Dinner shoes.
Oh,
Okay.
those shoes. How many pairs of shoes?
What is in the other 60% of that suitcase?
Again,
so
I'll open it up.
big.
It's not that full, but here's the thing: it's cold as F in Denver.
Is it cold?
Well, it's like it's going to dip
I-
into the 30s and 40s.
well, and
Oh, that's cold.
I heard it was warmer than us yesterday. That's the weird thing
when
about
I
Denver.
when
You
I
can-
checked at like 6 p.m., it was 63 degrees, I think, in
not
Escondido.
bad.
In Escondido,
No.
and then it was 54 degrees in Denver at the same time.
It's going to snow on Sunday, somebody said in the chat.
Fantastic.
Hope you get snowed in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually.
that'd be super duper
But
fun.
jackets and sweatshirts take up more space. But
That's
again,
true.
I went to,
Bulky.
we talked about it the other day. I was saying how luggage is absurdly expensive. And I got a decent, I don't even know what brand it is, but I like the one that I got. I went to Ross. A bunch of people in the chat said go to Ross or like TJ Maxx. Those places will have really good suitcases and pieces of luggage for cheap. And they had like $200 Samsonite pieces of luggage for $100. This was like $180. I got it for 75 or
That's
80
a
bucks.
big one, though. That is
And
a
I just
big
figured, why not? I'm checking the bag. It's not like I'm trying to fit that in
What
the overhead.
What airline you flying?
Today I'm flying United.
Do they make you pay for weight?
I think every airline is.
Anyone over 50
It's over
bucks,
50.
you're paying,
Over
or after
50
50
pounds.
pounds, you're paying
Is that
extra.
over 50?
That's no more
Shouldn't
than
be.
35 pounds. I'll guarantee
Shouldn't
it.
be. Even golf clubs are under 50 unless you really
not
stuff them
full.
with a lot of stuff.
No, it's not full at all, actually.
I can get my golf clubs onto a plane for well under 50 pounds. Oh, you can get it over your head. Nice. Show everyone on the camera here.
I am, aren't I?
No.
It's not. It's pretty light
It's not full.
for as big as it
I
is.
just figured, I mean, why not get the big?
Take the big one.
Take the big one.
Take the big one.
That way you can, if you need it, if you need the space, you got it.
You can bring home all sorts of gifts for us
Yeah.
and things, and
Stuff from like
stuff
Red
from
Rocks,
Denver. Yeah.
Denver.
What are you guys doing on this? Do you?
I can't disclose
Oh.
because it's a bachelor party weekend and all
You can't disclose because it's illegal, or you don't want Megan to find out, or what?
all of the above. No, it's a bachelor party for my buddy Cameron. Congratulations, Cameron. He's probably listening right now. He's a tier 1.
Hope your wife sleeps, Cameron.
And all Cameron knows is that he's getting on a plane today and going to Denver. And I don't believe he knows really much anything else. We've had a group chat going without him on it.
That's fun stuff.
So I can't really disclose what we're going to be up to. But, you know, dinner,
Like that dinner,
hiking, drinking.
little
Whistling.
whistling.
Gonna do some whistling. There might be some whistling.
I hope I never have to go to another bachelor party in my life. I never want to go to another one. Never, ever again.
I just turned 33 a couple months ago. I think I got like 2 or 3 more probably. Thinking of my friends
Yeah,
that
that
still
haven't gotten married.
aren't married yet. Maybe some won't, some will,
Can't do
some
it,
are
man.
engaged.
I cannot do it now. Even when I went to LA for a weekend to see Jack, I was like, "Hey man, I love you. I miss you. I wish I could see you every day. Are we gonna get a time to nap later? Can I nap in the afternoon?" And he's like, "Yeah, I figured you'd probably want to rest for a couple hours." I go, "Yes, I need a 2 to 3 hour rest period." And that's how I roll now. I can't do it anymore. I don't have it. I did my time at all the bachelor parties and stayed up for 3 days and all that. Like I can't do it
I
anymore.
never could do it.
I don't have it in
I
me.
never could. I never had it in me.
Beans in our YouTube chat. He lives in Denver, and he said, "Stay away from the Mexican food here." Yeah, I wasn't planning on that. I wasn't planning on Denver.
Cheaters in Colorado
Mexican
too.
food.
We got a bunch of tier 1s out in Colorado.
All right.
You can have a Denver omelet with some nice, good ham when you're in.
Oh, by the way, what I did not tell you guys this.
I'll be taking the train to Union Station this afternoon.
I did not
See
tell
you
you
there.
I didn't tell you. So I'm dying and laying in bed yesterday.
Yeah.
All I could get down were saltines. Okay. Hannah goes, "Can you?" She goes, "I'm gonna go pick up Bo and I'm gonna take him over to the condo where your parents are, and drop him off." I said, "Great, fantastic." So she does that, and she goes, "Can you go get him around 5?" I go, "You know what? Yes, I'll suck it up. I'll drive over. I'll go get him at 5. Walk over to the condo, park the car, walk in, knock on the door. My mom goes, "Well, hi, honey. We've had such a good time. I'm just now making dinner. You know what she was making? Eggs and sausage." I walked into the condo. I was like, "Brr." I go, "What are you making?" She's like, "Bo wanted breakfast for dinner." I'm like, "Oh God." I was like, "All right, can you open the door or something?" I was like, "This is a nightmare. Just a full nightmare. I may never eat an omelet again as long as I live."
All right, we have made it to the end of what was. It was a tough week, but we are here on Friday, and let's try to have a good show today. Craig's going to join us a little early. Craig Elston with his Crossing Streams recommendations. He's doing a charity golf tournament later today,
Something like that, yeah.
So he's going to join us at 6:35 here in just a couple of segments with his normal weekly discussion.
Oh, nice.
Obviously, we had some Padres news about the control of the team that broke yesterday. We'll discuss that coming up as well and set the stage for what the offseason might look like here for your San Diego Padres. Later in the show, we're going to be joined by old friend Casey Pratt. He is my counterpart up in the Bay Area
Great
at
dude.
ABC television anchor covering the exodus of the Oakland A's, approved yesterday to move to Las Vegas, get some Bay Area reaction. That'll be later in the show.
So I can't say for sure. I don't want to set him up, but I think he's going to come in here at 9:30 very passionate
Good.
and sad
Good.
about
Love
what's
it.
going on. I was texting with him yesterday, and
His tweets were incredible yesterday.
he's like, man, you guys know. You guys know
Yeah,
in San
if you're
Diego.
so
if you were a
similar,
San
dude.
Diego Chargers fan, I mean, listening to the quotes from John Fisher
It's
and Rob
so
Manfred,
crazy.
it might
It's
as
the
well have been
worst
Dean
part of
Spanos
sports.
and Roger Goodell. It sounded exactly the same yesterday.
It's identical.
It made me sick to my stomach. Talked about it on TV last night. We'll talk about it here. Get to all of our regular features. Don't do this. Finally, some Take on Woods this week. In our next hour, we haven't even played this week.
I hope the topic is ham. Songs about ham.
And we're going to give Woodsy
Songs
finally
by
a
Meatloaf.
daily ditty selection as well. Artists known for wearing glasses. Wrapping up the week. Coming up next with Ben and Woods. It is Friday morning. Glad to have you with us. Let's get our first check of traffic right now with Kelly here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Mm. The dulcet tones of the great Roy Orbison crying.
More than just Pretty Woman.
Oh, dude. What a legend he
Pretty woman.
is. He just kicks ass. He looked weird, but he had a really good voice.
That was part of the equation.
It was part
though,
of
for
the
this
thing.
Ditty this week.
Yeah. Not because of the glasses. He just looked weird. He had like weird sideburns and just had like a weird look to him, but he was great. I love Roy Orbison. Love him. There you go. There's your ditty. Next week, beltless people that sing.
So yesterday, news broke via The Athletic that while at the owners' meetings that they gathered at this week for Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred appointed or approved of Eric Kutsenda as the new control person for the San Diego Padres, at least on an interim basis.
Okay.
And if you remember the name, Eric Kutsenda was Peter Seidler's main business partner with Seidler Equity Partners.
Had you heard of him until
No.
we had heard that Peter had fallen ill?
No,
I hadn't
this
either.
is the first time this year that I had heard his
I'm
name.
not sure we should have.
Yeah, I don't know that we should have either.
And we never met him or spoke to him, correct? Has anyone here
No.
had any conversation with
Nope.
Eric
Oh,
Kutsenda
me and
before?
Eric, we go way back.
I don't know that anyone outside of the Padres really has. We don't know much about him at this point, other than he was one of the founding managing partners
He's
of
been
Seidler Equity Partners, and
30
has been,
years.
Yeah, has been close with Peter for a very long time.
So what does whatever the title is that Rob Manfred appointed him, like the control person? What does that mean?
So
The guy with the rubber
So
stamp.
every
Because
team,
I would have to assume everything is basically still status quo in the sense that AJ is still running all of the baseball operations and Eric Grupner is running the business side of the operation.
yeah, he's still the CEO, and AJ is still the president of baseball operations. But as you can imagine, most of these Major League Baseball teams, including the Padres, are owned by a consortium of people. There are investors. There are private, people. There are groups. Even with the Padres, they have minority owners like Alfred Harpelou.
Yep.
But Major League Baseball can't have 17 cooks in the kitchen. They need someone who has the authority to speak for each team. When you have to vote on something, there's got to be one person who has the final say when it comes to league decisions and league matters. That person is the control person, and each franchise needs to have one. For the Padres, from 2012 until 2020, the control person was Ron Fowler. And then when Ron stepped aside, it became Peter Seidler. He was also the owner, but he also became the control person for the Padres, and he was that up until his passing earlier this week. And now, they want to act fairly quickly because they don't want to have an absence of the Padres represented in league matters. So
Is it common? Is San Diego, I feel like in San Diego, just in the last 15 years or whatever, we had, Ron Fowler was out in the public. You knew he was in charge and you heard and saw him a lot. Same with Peter Seidler. Is that common with the sports teams that the control person is out in the public eye?
Do you get the sense that he's not walking into the office this morning and being like, all right, Eric's in charge. Eric's in charge.
Yeah, as
in
far
line.
as how much of public facing the control person is, it varies, I believe, from organization to organization. For instance, John Fisher is the owner and control person for the Oakland A's. If you ask people up in Oakland, and we will when we talk to Casey Pratt later, they never see or talk to John Fisher at all. He is pretty much, until this relocation business has been completely behind the scenes, doesn't do any media in a year, doesn't do radio interviews, doesn't do television interviews. It kind of varies from owner to owner how much in the public spotlight they want to be. In the NFL, obviously there are owners like Jerry Jones that are all
The weekly hit.
you hear them weekly. There are other owners that are very quiet, and you don't really hear from them much at all. Maybe once a year at most, you'll get a news conference or something like that. So I think it varies, and one of the points that was made in the reporting by Dennis Lynn and Ken Rosenthal and Evan Drellick in The Athletic was this is an interim appointment. Eric Kutsenda is not necessarily intended to always be the person who is the control person for the Padres, but they don't want to have no one. And it's a lot to ask anyone from the Seidler family to just step in and do it and make that decision right now. So because Kutsenda had been working closely with Peter and had gone to some of these meetings, including the one recently where he and Eric Grupner had kind of presented their plan to get in compliance with the debt service rules. He's already kind of up to speed on everything, I guess, and it makes sense that for now he's the interim control person. Now there's a big vetting process before the final control person is named. I guess he doesn't have to go through the entire rigmarole of approval from everyone when you're the interim guy. When the Padres eventually select their final control person, whoever that may be, and it could still be Kutsenda, it's a much more detailed process that it requires a lot of more hoops to go through on the ownership level across Major League Baseball.
It's interesting because it is such a it's a job that if you get the call from Rob Manfred and said, all right, Eric, I need you to take point on this. Well, look at what that man and this organization is staring down the barrel of the next couple of months, right? The potential of trading Juan Soto, the potential of Ha-Sung Kim. I haven't really heard he's on the market, but he's he got a year left on his deal. The potential of having to rebuild the team, the potential of having to cut a lot of payroll. Like, hey, thanks, Rob. Thanks for making me a massive scapegoat, with a 60-day interim appointment here.
It's almost similar to when the Nationals got sold and the new ownership was like, cool, now we got to be the ones to trade Juan Soto.
Awesome. And do all the
Thanks,
things.
guys.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I don't envy his position at all right now. Now, I mean, he could also be, the guy that steps in and says, I just don't know how forward he's going to be. I don't know how, I doubt we'll ever get a chance to talk to him. I doubt they're going to book him on next Friday.
Maybe he will, though.
Maybe he will.
No
we have no idea. Did you see where he went to college, though, Paulie?
No.
DePaul.
Oh,
DU.
yes.
He went to DU.
To me.
Yes, DU. I still want Paul Reindl shirts with Paul's face that says DePaul. It's my favorite bit. Our producer, DePaul Reindl. It makes me laugh every single time. DePaul Reindl. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see what happens with Eric Kutsenda, but yeah, as of today, I don't envy that position at all. It's a massive legacy.
Probably most people would say, I get to run a Major League Baseball team. That's awesome. Under these circumstances at this time, doesn't feel like it's an awesome job at the moment.
No, it doesn't.
We'll see what long-term things look like. We're going to take a time out. When we come back, a little early Friday visit from our friend Craig Elston. Some Crossing Streams recommendation. Going to be talking about a movie that Woodsy's very excited about.
Really good one.
That is coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Friday morning. Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. Got Craig Elston standing by. We're going to get some Crossing Streams recommendation. We'll get his thoughts on the passing of Peter Seidler as well right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by BMW. Getting a little busier on our roads. Got some malfunctioning traffic signals causing some confusion on the Palm Avenue off-ramp of northbound 5. Also going to find on the westbound 8 right at the northbound 15 connector ramp. Stalled SUV in the center divide. Northbound 163 just before Friars Road. Watch out for some debris in middle lanes. Brought to you by BMW, the ultimate driving machine, now through November 30th. During the BMW Road Home Sales event, receive a credit of up to $3,000 on select models like the BMW X3 and X5. Visit SoCalBMW.com today for details. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Of course, it's been a very sad week for San Diego Padres fans, but I feel like it's also been a powerful week with important messages and lessons from the life of Peter Seidler and the person that he was. And it's good to have Craig Elston here with us a little bit early on a Friday morning. Craig, obviously we had a cathartic 4-hour show on Wednesday, but wanted to kind of get your thoughts here as we bring you in on a Friday on the passing of Peter and his legacy as well.
I mean, of course, first off, good morning, guys.
Hey, buddy.
Great to be with you even an hour early. I, got a little coffee, so I'm good. I mean, what a gut punch on Tuesday, but to the entire region. And when I think about the history of San Diego sports and the greatest owners in the history of San Diego sports, first off, it's a pretty short list. And second off, Peter Seidler is on top by an absolute mile. I mean, I'd say Peter Seidler, John Moores for Petco Park, Ray Kroc for saving the Padres from moving to Washington in the first place, and the original owner of the San Diego Sockers, Bob Bell, who brought big-time championships to San Diego in the 1980s. Those would be your top four, your Mount Rushmore, for a sports talk radio cliche of owners. But Seidler tops them all. And I think beyond anything, guys, what Peter Seidler gave our region, gave our fans, is hope. It's something that we never had as a franchise before. The Padres, how many times did we hear it, Ben? Over decades. Padres get a new player. It doesn't matter. They're going to trade him away anyway. Padres never keep their good guys. Padres never can afford anything. Padres always act on the cheap. They'll sell their guys on pennies on the dollar to keep on going. And
It really started with like Dave
changed
Winfield, like at the very early stages of the franchise history. The tone was set for what the San Diego Padres were going to be. Essentially a farm team for the better teams in baseball.
Correct. And that's gone now. And hopefully it never comes back. I mean, truly, hopefully it never comes back. I think there's a ton of people feeling uncertainty about what's going to happen with this franchise. And in April, Peter Seidler said he'd speak from the grave, and now I sadly hope he does, and that this remains the vibrant baseball community that it has become. The one other thing I have to say, guys, and I know this is shared by a lot of people, but, you went through a range of emotions on Tuesday, and one of them, I think very justifiably, was anger.
Yeah.
Anger at this club in 2023, anger at the entire concept of win one for Pete, because this was the year to win one for Pete. This literally was the year, and the Padres can win next year or the year after that, and Peter Seidler won't be here on the mortal coil to enjoy it, and we can all decide whether he's enjoyed it or not, but it's not here. So I'm sure there are a number of Padres who took that personally, who looked at this and realized we had this moment and we let it go. And now what are we going to do?
Craig, I'm reminded of that, of what AJ Preller said in his press conference to the media right after the season. It's damn near the first thing he said was something to the effect of, we feel like we just wasted a year. Like we feel like we really let one get away from us. It was something to that effect. Do you guys remember? It was like one of the first comments he made of like, we really, I mean, for lack of a better term, we really essed the bed on this year. We let it get away.
It's why, for me personally, I'm so bullish on not trading Juan Soto.
Yeah,
because
100%.
that feels like you're punting 2024,
It
and
does.
you just wasted 2023. Manny's going to get a year older. Xander's getting a year older. Darvish and Musgrove getting a year older. Like, you don't have time to just punt seasons.
Yeah, exactly. Especially since you just did. And no, it definitely, I think it's a very valid way to feel. It has changed my perspective, though, a little bit, Craig, with the passing of Peter Seidler. You know, man, like I've been in, since it happened, since we did the show, I've just been in a really thoughtful place, right? I've just been feeling more thoughtful of like, man, I want to pound. 2 weeks ago, I was like, I can't wait to get to spring training. I want to pound these guys. Like, I want to get after them. And now, I'm not saying that I won't. You know, you got to ask them tough questions. But honestly, man, I just was like, what are you going to do? I mean, Peter's gone. You know, we start over. We turn the page.
You want to give everyone a hug?
I
now.
do. I honestly do. That's literally what I was thinking. Like, I just want to be like, bro, I'm sorry. Like, that must have been terrible, you know, for all of you guys. So it's changed my perspective a little bit.
Well, I agree with you. And you know, overall, right? Every one of these guys in the front office, in the clubhouse, the multimillionaires on the team, the guys who have received 7, 8, 6, 10-year contracts from the team, they just took the biggest loss.
Yeah, they did.
That they'll take in their career. So it's really not on us on this side of the microphone to remind them of the terrible loss that they took, or to hammer them over the head with our mics saying, boy, you really let us all down.
Yep.
You let Peter Seidler down. They know.
Yeah, they do.
They
They
know,
do. That's
just
what
like
hit
you
home.
know that you let your mom or your dad down, you know, at some point in your life when they're gone and you can't talk to them again. Like, those types of regrets go deep inside a human being. And I'm positive there are a number of Padres who feel that way. How they react to it, how they change in 2024. You know, it's also unfair to put that on them. Like, Peter Seidler died, and now you're kicking an error like this. You
exactly.
know, baseball's stupid and no one should watch. Right?
Exactly.
I'll just say that forever. You can't take anything too seriously in terms of on the field in baseball. But I do think internally the boys on the club, they know what they did.
No doubt. And they're hurting. No question about it, man.
Craig, the Padres had 4 different players who received MVP votes yesterday. Juan Soto finished 6th, but Blake Snell, Fernando Tatis Jr., Ha-Sung Kim, all were deemed by at least some members of the media as being top 10 players in the National League. That's pretty rare when you can have 4 guys that are considered, maybe top 10 players in the league. Obviously, the Padres didn't do with it what they needed to do with it. And I think one of the big concerns is we're only fairly confident that one of those guys is returning next year in Fernando Tatis Jr., maybe Ha-Sung Kim, less certain of Juan Soto, and pretty confident that Blake Snell is going to be gone. When you kind of look at that and what the Padres kind of have to decide here on the offseason, what's your take on, making the most of your talent that you've got on the roster right now?
I mean, obviously, 23 was a complete fail in that regard. So, we can just take that and put it in the bin with the rest of it. And hopefully we can seal up that bin at some point and not have to reopen it. I mean, this was a top-heavy team. We talked about it all year. And now to be this decorated for 82 wins and have, like you said, multiple MVP candidates, the NL Cy Young Award winner, 2 Gold Glovers, a Platinum Glover, Silver Sluggers, like everywhere you look, the Padres did something well, except for convert it all into dubs. But because you brought up Snell, I'll just say this, I got a Blake Snell jersey the year that the Padres traded for him. He was the pitcher I've enjoyed watching the last 3 years for the most part. The most on the club.
Yep.
And I remember saying in May or June that I was sadly kind of looking forward to another team paying Blake Snell because he's got limitations to what he does. And a lot of the writing about Blake Snell's Cy Young Award season reminds you of the things he did that are essentially unreplicable. You know, the almost 90% strand rate, leading the league in walks and ERA. What did I see? He allowed 19 earned runs in his last 23 starts or something insane like that.
Staggering.
Just realistically, take off your fandom hat. Is Blake Snell ever going to do that again in his career? What are the odds that Blake Snell has a season like the season he just had in his 30s? It's possible. Certainly possible.
Ben made a good point yesterday though, when after you heard Blake's comments of, once I learned to accept that I'm going to walk guys and realize I'm nasty enough to get guys out, maybe that helped. It certainly helped him the second half of last season where he was almost unhittable. You know, and if that's a mentality he takes to wherever he goes, and it's like, it's fine. Like, don't panic. I'm not going to panic. You don't panic when I walk a guy. Nobody can continue what he did. But again, like, I still think he can be.
Pitchers stay dominant into their 30s.
Oh, yeah.
Mid-30s. I mean, you look at like Verlander, Kershaw.
Yeah, he's got
Scherzer,
the stuff.
guys like that. You know, you feel like it's there, but do you want to pay the premium?
Yeah.
We talked about it. When you're the Cy Young winner and you have those numbers, there's only one direction you can go.
That's exactly right, man.
It ain't up.
It's not up. You know, you can't continue to do that. But if maybe he can, and not at that rate, but a rate that can help a team win a World Series. I'll tell you this, man. If it's Game 6, Game 7, and I need to win a ball game, I'm pretty happy with Blake Snell on the mound. I am. He just has that dominant, nasty strikeout stuff that just so few guys seem to have. You know, I wish him well. I don't think, you know, we can't pay him $30 million a year that he's going to command somewhere else, 25, 30, but
then that will be an overpay.
It will
even
be.
if he's great the first year or even the first 2 years. It's going to be an overpay for Blake
eventually.
Snell. And that's why I've been all along said I'm okay with letting Blake Snell go. Now, when he gets overpaid by the Dodgers
or the Giants
and shoves for the first couple of seasons, it's going to be painful if that's the case. But it still is going to be an overpay, whoever signs Blake Snell this offseason. Craig, I think you're right on that one. Let's get to our Crossing Streams recommendation at 6:51. Woods is excited about this one. I keep seeing ads on my Twitter feed for this recommendation all over the place.
Yeah, we are recommending tonight, this morning. I watched it last night. I don't know what time it is. The Killer on Netflix, which is David Fincher's newest movie. And almost I should be able to stop the recommendation right there.
Yeah, you're good. You're
when
done.
You're talking, right? When you're talking about Fincher, you're talking about Seven, you're talking about Gone Girl, you're talking about The Social Network, right? This is one of the best American filmmakers of the 21st century, to be clear. So start with that. His precision, his cinematography, his ability to master pacing. Now, what are we talking about in the movie, The Killer, which lasts just a little bit under 2 hours? This is a thrill ride, boys. I watched The Killer last night, and it's going to take you about 8 to 10 minutes, deliberately by design, to get into this, because it starts. Michael Fassbender is a killer for hire. Okay, you're just going to be along with Michael Fassbender for this movie. It starts with him in Paris on a stakeout, waiting for his kill to get in position for him to take his one shot. And it's a lot of internal dialogue. It's a lot of voiceover, his philosophy of things. There's this meticulousness to this man. And then it's not really a spoiler to say he takes his shot and he misses.
Yeah. It's amazing.
And the rest of the movie is the fallout of he took his shot and he missed and he's on the run and there's people after him. And then he starts to violate the very meticulous codes that he's put in place for his life and his profession in order to get some revenge for what has taken place. This movie runs fast. Once the shot is fired, like I was literally, guys, edge of my seat.
Oh, yeah.
Like edge of my seat, couldn't lay down, sitting up, heart rate elevated. Like, this movie moves. It is thrilling. It will twist. It's got that. Fincher creates tension.
He's amazing.
He creates tension. He creates detail in the moment. And Fassbender is spectacular.
Brilliant.
Tilda Swinton has a great small role.
God, she's
as
great.
well.
She's phenomenal.
Super high rec on The Killer.
It's so good, and I love the little nugget, Craig, the music nugget his kill music is just my favorite part of all of it. There's one band in particular he listens to when he's about to do his business, and they just sprinkle it in throughout the show. One of my favorite bands of all time. It's really, really brilliant, and Fassbender, getting him to be able to do that. He's like a professional race car driver, so they had to tailor it around his schedule because he'll act. It's got to be the perfect part, but that's what he loves to do. He drives like Formula One or something. He's brilliant. So to get him in it, put those two together. I would watch any Fincher movie. If he made a cartoon, I would watch it. Anything he did, he's brilliant. So great rec this week, Kreger.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Can't wait for everyone to watch The Killer. Just give yourself 2 hours and settle in. Evening time watch. This is one to get the popcorn out and get going.
Craig, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family next week. Enjoy the holidays, and we'll catch up with you the following week, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. Look forward to it. That'll be the week of the soccer season opener.
There we go.
Let's go.
I just put in my season credential requests yesterday to cover
don't approve
the
of Craig.
Sockers.
Rubber stamp that bad boy, Kreger.
You got to promise to be there, Ben. I'm not just going to give you a
I'm
credential
I'm looking forward to it.
He likes to get the credentials.
You always have to have one just in case.
That's
you
right.
never know. It's,
JSC.
whatever goes on, big stories. Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, buddy.
Cheers, boys.
Craig Elston crossing streams with his recommendation this week of The Killer on Netflix
So
with
good.
Michael Fassbender. I didn't know he was a race car driver. Is he going to be driving in Las Vegas?
I don't think he's going to be in
This
Las Vegas,
weekend.
but we need to
Is
talk
anybody
about
going to be driving? in Las
Man,
Vegas
they
this
have-
weekend?
We'll probably get to it and don't do this, but that event, which may have been as hyped as anything we have seen for like a year and a half, 2 years.
Paulie did that story like a year and a half
Yeah.
ago. Yeah.
is turning
nuts.
into one of the biggest potential sports disasters. I feel like you have to wait until it's over before you can render final judgment, but everything that's happened so far is setting the F1 race in Las Vegas to be really one of the tremendous sports disasters of our time.
I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about the trade that went down last night. That, to the naked eye,
I kept
makes
going,
you
am I
roll
reading
your
this-
head, like
am I
roll your
reading
eyes.
this- Am I reading this correctly?
Nuts.
Yeah, you had a 6-player trade in
Already.
baseball late last night. We'll get to that coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. Might have happened after you fell asleep last night, but we did have our first real significant trade of the offseason. Not a blockbuster by any stretch of the imagination, but a real trade. Welcome back. It is Ben and Woods, Friday morning here on 97.3 The Fan. We got Take on Woods, our first Take on Woods of the week.
It's crazy.
Coming up here in just a few minutes. If you want to try to battle Woods for a chance to head to Las Vegas, you can call us now, 833-288-0973. We'll play our musical trivia game in just a couple of minutes. But, when I first saw the trade news break, I kept looking at it and going, I'm reading this wrong. Okay, let me read it again. I'm reading this wrong again. What am I missing? Why are the Atlanta Braves acquiring a relief pitcher with an ERA over 6 last season in exchange for 5 players? That is what they did, correct?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes.
Five for one deal for a relief pitcher whose ERA was 6+ last season
Almost
with
7.
the Chicago White Sox. Almost 7.
Yeah.
But there is some logic behind it.
So now, again, take this from a Braves fan, but this guy knows a lot more about their roster. It'd be like if the Padres did this. There's probably a way to, for the layman, they'd look at it and go, "Oh my God, what is AJ Preller doing?" But the way that this guy explains it, he says, "Look, so first of all, the trade was the Atlanta Braves acquired left-handed pitcher Aaron Bummer from the Chicago White Sox in exchange for right-handed pitcher Michael Soroka, left-handed pitcher Jared Schuster, infielder Nicky Lopez, infielder Braden Shoemake, and minor league pitcher Riley Gowans." So you look at that and go, wow, okay, that's a lot. Now, a couple of those guys are actually former first-round draft picks as well. But the way that this guy explained, he said, look, this basically means Soroka and Lopez were going to be non-tendered tomorrow. Bummer is a really nice piece to add to this bullpen. Looks like a lot on the surface, but Schuster and Shoemake clearly had no future here. We just traded 4 guys with little to no value to the team for a really good reliever. Now, you hear a guy with a 6.7 ERA as a really good reliever. If you look a little bit, first of all, he's on a very, very poor team. A very, 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 very poor team. But his expected ERA, Ben, was about 3 full points below what it should have been. Strikeout numbers are pretty good. Again, he's going to a better organization. If you were going to non-tender 2 of those guys anyway, and you didn't have a spot for the other 2 guys, you get something. You get something back for guys you weren't going to have room for anyway. Again, I think Alex Anthopoulos has earned it. He's got enough street cred to make trades like this and go, because who are you going to miss? Had you heard of any of those guys other than Soroka? No, I hadn't either.
And all I know now about Soroka is, though, while he was an ace in the making, has not been healthy for...
Can't stay healthy.
What, 3 years, 4 years? I don't even know
how long
it's been.
He had an Achilles last year, and now the White Sox will look at him and go, hey, Mike Soroka, he'd be our 3. If we got Mike Soroka, he'd probably be our 3 or 4 today.
If he can pitch at all.
If he can pitch.
I don't even know where he stands right now. But if I'm the White Sox, I'm talking myself into a guy who at one point was a top of the rotation starter in exchange for a bullpen piece.
A middle reliever.
Did not pitch well for us, but this does make a lot of sense for the Braves.
And it's a 40-man dump as well.
Yeah, a team that's in win now mode, that any team can always use more promising arms in the bullpen, and they've had a lot of success in getting the most out of the players that they have. If Bummer, and he put up good numbers in years before last year, just reverts to form, he'll be a nice addition that they can use versus 5 players that they probably would not be using last year. So you've taken, little bits and pieces from here and there. You collect it all together in your dustpan, and you throw it over to the White Sox, who are hoping, hey, if one of these guys hits, we feel like we won this trade because we're not giving up much. So it is a deal that somehow makes sense for both teams, I think, for next year.
Yeah. Makes sense to me, buddy.
All right, we had our MVP awards announced yesterday. I think the main surprise for me was obviously not that Shohei Ohtani or Ronald Acuna Jr. won. I was surprised that Acuna was a unanimous selection.
I guess
there wasn't a single one of the 30 writers that picked Mookie Betts over Acuna.
Yeah, Mookie probably deserved a couple votes. Matt Olson got completely screwed. I think he was really, really
I mean,
good.
Mookie got every second place vote.
Yeah.
Acuna got every first place vote. Mookie got every second place vote. Third and fourth was Freeman and Olsen kind of back and forth. Most of the fifth places went to Corbin Carroll, and most of the sixth places went to Juan Soto. That was a pretty clear delineation, 1 through 6, of the best players in the National League yesterday. I mean, I understand. The writers, they look at those historic numbers that Acuna put together, the first 40-70 season, and I guess that just screamed louder than what Mookie Betts did during the year. And I'm not saying that they are wrong, but there hasn't been that many unanimous selections in baseball history. In fact, and this surprised me as well, Shohei Ohtani is the first person ever to be a 2-time unanimous MVP, ever in baseball history. He was a unanimous choice 2 years ago. He was a unanimous choice this year in the American League.
Like, how did Barry Bonds not have two
not unanimous
MVPs?
twice even, but Ohtani has now done it twice, and now he is a free agent coming off an MVP season.
I thought he looked very sad last night. I know he had his puppy in his lap and he high-fived his puppy, but I just thought he was sad. He also did not do the...
That was a cute puppy.
His cute puppy.
MLB had the great tweet. Here's the MVP and Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, it's very low-hanging fruit.
good.
I get
It's
it.
good.
You love low-hanging fruit. I do not.
I do.
I wish I loved anything.
I
as
wish
much
I
as
loved
he
it. It's
loves
like
low-hanging
that
fruit.
plum that's just almost dragging on the ground. He's like, I'll take it. Absolutely. I'll take it. I'll eat it. And I'll let the juices run down my
Enjoy it.
chin. I'll spit this pit out, and I'll be so happy.
You're
that I
climbing
did.
up the highest ladder to try
I want
to
something.
grab that
something
that
a little
slightly out of reach piece.
Be a
I
little
will
better.
just take that fruit that is right in front of me. It's juicy and delicious.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. I just thought he looked sad. He also didn't do the media availability after. He has not spoken to any media since he got hurt.
And they called it technical difficulties.
Said situation beyond his control. Yeah, here's the situation beyond my control. I don't want to talk to any media right now.
You know what a conference call entails? Is dialing a phone number. There really almost can't be any technical difficulties with that. And if they truly had problems, like whatever the call center that coordinates it went down, you could put together a Zoom, a Teams. I mean, you could send him a link to his phone. There's almost no way you couldn't instantly coordinate a media session with Shohei Ohtani. It screamed to me that Ohtani didn't want to talk about his free agency, didn't want to answer any questions about the injury, the surgery, anything, and thus just used the excuse of technical difficulties to get out of talking to the media after winning the MVP award.
Now, me, noted body language expert, thought that he looked very sad. I just thought.
Why would you be sad?
I don't know.
You're the MVP. You're a free agent. You have a puppy. Why would you be sad in that
he was
circumstance?
alone in there, just him and his dog. I thought I was sad for him, and it looked like he was sad to me.
He doesn't have a soulmate? Is that
I guess
what we're
not,
saying?
I guess. I mean, not yet, but he just seemed sad to me. It's tough. I mean, he's got this, he's got to make this life-changing decision. I understand there's life-changing money. There's going to be a lot of it. There's going to be truckfuls of cash backed up.
If he wants to stay with the Angels, he
could.
can.
He
I mean,
could.
he's got every decision in front of him. There's no bad
It's a
choice
lot of
for
pressure,
Shohei
though.
Ohtani going
Sure
forward.
there is. Sure
No,
there
isn't.
is. Oh, yeah.
No, there isn't.
Absolutely
No,
there
there
is.
isn't.
100%.
No, there isn't.
Absolutely there is.
The worst possible thing he can do is
Pick the wrong team.
No, even if he does, he's still going to be playing
He's
baseball.
already done it once.
He's going to be playing baseball for a living for tons of money.
Yeah, but what if his ultimate goal is to win a ring and he picks a team that I can't say that term that I almost you know what term I want to say.
I know exactly what you're trying to say.
You know what I'm trying to say? They exact all their resources on getting him.
If he wants to go to the Astros at half price and try to win a title, he can do that. If that's what's the most important to him, guess what? He'll still make truckloads of money. There's not a team out there, even the best team that has no money, that wouldn't take him for pennies on the dollar if that's really what he wanted to do. Ohtani has all the cards. He can do whatever he wants
There's no
this
question.
offseason.
But you can make a wrong decision. you absolutely can make a wrong decision.
But I mean, if he really is, the most important thing is he likes his comfort and he doesn't mind staying with the Angels. He hopes that they win, and they'll pay him too. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he absolutely can. He's going to be able to ride his own ticket.
He wants to go to the Braves.
He could.
I mean, imagine how good they would be if he wanted to go to the Braves.
Ridiculous. I just feel like it's a lot of pressure. He's still a kid. He's not from here. He's already picked the wrong team one time. He doesn't want to do it again. That's such an amazing amount of pressure now. Our entire audience is rolling their eyes, going, "Oh my God, I wish I had that kind of. Wish I kind of had
rolling
that
my
decision."
eyes.
Yeah, you are too. But I just feel like, holy cow, man! It's such a big decision that he has in front of him. He just seemed sad. Now Acuna didn't do the media either because he had a game. He was leading off for in Venezuela last night.
How do I seem to you right now?
Let me see.
Body language expert Woods. Am I sad? Am
No,
I
you're
happy?
good. You seem good today.
I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, you're right.
Yeah,
I'm
you seem good. Let me look at
You're
Paulie.
right. Yeah.
Paulie looks good.
Yeah, he's about to
Everybody
go.
looks
He's
great.
about to go on a bachelor party weekend. Of course, he's good.
He showed me the itinerary.
You don't have to be a genius
It's on.
over
It's
there.
on now, dude.
Cannot wait.
One of the craziest stats: the Angels now have 50% of the MVPs over the last decade, with 0 playoff appearances to show
That's
for.
what I'm saying, man. Like Mike Trout, those guys are like, we really, we had a lot of money, but Mike Trout's played 3 playoff games in his entire career. Like it's a big decision, man. Roman, our beloved Tier 1. We teased Formula One talk. We did not get to it.
No,
we
it's going
will.
to be in Don't Do This.
Okay, we
it
will
has
get
to be
to it in Don't Do
Don't
This.
Do
Okay,
This.
so
the
just
way this weekend has started for F1.
hang on patiently.
Undoubtedly coming up in just a moment. Right now, though, it's time to play for the first time this week. Take on Woods. All right, Guy in Bay Park, a regular Take on Woods contestant, is in this morning. Hello, Guy.
Good morning, guys.
All right.
Rest in peace, Peter Seidler.
Thank you very much. I'm sure the family appreciates that. Let's give you a chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. We will be talking about Vegas momentarily. It's a 2-night stay at Resorts World. 2 tickets to Luke Bryan, performing December 29th through January 6th at Resorts World Theater. You can get your tickets now at rwlasvegas.com. Here are our categories. I've almost forgotten all of them. We've got Knock Knock, 5 songs with knock or knocking in the title. Hey is for Horses. Those are 5-song titles that begin with hey. And we've got One Step at a Time. Those are 5 musical answers that include step. All right, Knock Knock, Hey is for Horses, or One Step at a Time, Guy?
Let's try the knock knock.
Knock Knock. All right, this one should be fun. We've got 5 songs with knock or knocking in the title. You'll have 60 seconds to answer as many as you can. You can pass if you don't know one. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. Woods goes second. We'll compare scores. If you beat or tie him, put you into the hopper for the grand prize trip to Las Vegas. First question, of course, is the 2-second song. Paulie is going to play a tune. You are going to give me the title and the artist of that tune, and then we'll go on from there. Guy, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's
All right,
go.
60 seconds on the clock. This first one should be somewhat familiar to everybody. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. The category Knock Knock. Good luck, Guy. Let's take on Woods.
Can you hear me knocking stone?
Correct.
Wait, can you hear me knock? Yeah.
Subtitled Ghetto Anthem, which Jay-Z hits, samples a song from Annie, the musical.
Hard knock light.
Correct. Eric Clapton and Guns N' Roses both recorded successful covers of which Bob Dylan song written for the movie Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid?
Knocking on heaven's door.
Correct. LL Cool J picked up a Grammy Award for Best Solo Rap Performance for which 1991 hit?
I'm gonna knock you out.
Incorrect.
I said knock you out.
No, that is correct. I got to go with your first answer. The 2-word title of which 2019 Luke Bryan song is an Old West euphemism for having sex?
Knocking boots.
That is correct. I wish you had not jumped in so quickly.
Oh, man.
Because it is Mama said knock you out, and I think that is such a
I
key
think
part
you
of that
already
answer.
ruled before he
I
corrected.
did. He corrected it, but I had already ruled, and I feel like
Maybe you jumped the gun.
maybe. I usually am more generous. Hang on the line either way, Guy. I don't know. Well, kind of feel like it's a 4.5 in this case.
Here comes Woodsy.
Let's bring Woods in. All right, Guy's score is sort of locked in. Yeah, I know. Well, we'll explain when we're done. Put 60 seconds back on the clock for Woodsy. If he misses the first one, I will fall out of my chair.
If you
Here
missed
we
the
go.
first one, you're fired.
60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Guy.
Can't you hear me knocking? The Rolling Stone.
Correct. Subtitled Ghetto Anthem, which Jay-Z hit samples a song from Annie, the musical.
Hard Knock Life.
Correct. Eric Clapton and Guns N' Roses both recorded successful covers of which Bob Dylan's song.
Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Correct. LL Cool J picked up a Grammy Award for Best Solo Rap Performance for which 1991 hit.
Mama said knock you out.
Correct. The two-word title of which 2019 Luke Bryan song is an Old West euphemism for having sex.
Touch my taint.
All right, that makes me feel good because whether it's 4 or 5, Guy gets to qualify for Las Vegas.
It meant the difference of the outright win.
He did.
What was the category? I had no idea.
Knock.
Can't you hear me knocking?
Knock.
Hard Knock Life, knocking on Heaven's Door.
Oh,
Mama
knocking
said,
boots.
Knocking boots.
I bet it's terrible.
Should have thought about
when
it.
Ben sent this over.
I bet it's terrible.
Like 2 weeks ago now, or a week and a half
That's
ago.
been sitting there for a while.
Ben sent this over. I looked over the songs. I went and listened to it.
To Knockin' Boots. I bet it's the worst song in the history of the world.
Guy, hang on, by the
we've
way.
said
We'll
that-
put you in the drawing here.
We've said that for pretty much every Luke Bryan
Yeah.
song.
This is it.
This
I want
is
to hear it.
the number one
Number
worst
one.
song.
By the way,
I can hear it in my head.
Guy,
Never heard it.
congratulations on the possibility of winning Luke Bryan tickets for knowing that Luke Bryan song.
Why Luke Bryan?
Simply the
Simply
best.
the best for some people.
Let's hear it.
Hang on. Oh my god.
How many listens does it have to?
A lot.
A billion?
A lot. I'm sure it's a lot.
Mother.
Mm. Mm.
They do need that. That's true.
Oh my god. I'm enraged. Like I have rage in my body. I need to. It's like
Just wait for the.
I can't wait. Oh, kill me. Just kill me, be dead. Put
Well,
me in my-
speaking of Luke Bryan in Las Vegas, get to a little Vegas talk coming up here, and don't do this, and the F1 debacle, at least so far, coming up next. Congratulations, Guy. We'll be back after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. This segment of Ben and Woods is brought to you by the Golf Mart. Let's get right to it. Woods, take it away for Don't Do This.
I feel like we're going to be late. We don't have much time, but there was this was a bit of a bombshell yesterday, and tough 24 hours or so for Carissa Thompson. Probably shouldn't have said anything at all, but she did. She went on she's a sideline reporter, and she went on
Former sideline reporter,
yeah. And she went on with the guys from Barstool and kind of flippantly said that, well, when a coach wouldn't talk to her, she would just make it up. This is what
I
she
haven't
said.
been fired for saying it, but I'll say it again. I would make up the report sometimes because A, the coach wouldn't come out at halftime, or it was too late, and I was like, I didn't want to screw up the report, so I was like, I'm just going to make this up because first of all, no coach is going to get mad if I say, hey, we need to stop hurting ourselves. We need to be better on third down. We need to stop turning the ball
Pressure
over.
the quarterback.
We need, yeah, exactly, and do a better job of getting off the field. Like they're not going to correct me on that.
Right.
So I'm like, it's fine. I'll just make up the report.
So she got, the torches and pitchforks, the whole thing, they were out. Andrew Marchand summed it up pretty nicely. He said, Carissa Thompson messed up on many levels. Number one, making up reports, pretty self-evident as to why. Number two, I get PMT is a relaxed environment. Revealing that was an odd choice. And all the sideline reporters who do the job correctly look better as a result. It's tough because, I do take offense sometimes when you get painted with the media brush. Sometimes you do get offended. You're like, bro, not everybody's the same. Don't drag me because of something somebody else did.
I felt bad for people like Andrea Kramer, who take the job really seriously, are professionals. She's a Hall of Famer who has done that job.
It spawned about 1,000 think pieces.
Is
yesterday.
Carissa Thompson wrong? Are most of the comments completely inane drivel from coaches that you get anyway at halftime? Yeah, a lot of it is that. Occasionally, though, when you're really doing a good job and doing your work, you'll get that nugget or two that is informative and helpful for an audience and adds context and texture to the game. And
it did.
That's the goal, at least.
It did make me think, though. What it did was it made me think, because you do see sometimes they don't talk to the coach, and then they will come back to the sideline reporter and they're like, well, I talked to Coach Ben Higgins at halftime, and he said that, and I went, I wonder how many people actually do that but just don't admit it like she did. So, rough day for her. I didn't get super crazy about it. In my opinion, there's a lot worse things going on right now, but definitely not something you want to admit to. Right?
Right. I mean, at the very least, she stepped in it unnecessarily.
Correct. Yeah, you kind of brought that on yourself a little bit.
All right. They're calling it the Fire Festival of F1, essentially. Everything seems to be going wrong for this Formula One race in Las Vegas that is scheduled to begin. Do you know when the race begins?
Saturday, right?
Yeah, 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
10 p.m., 1 a.m. on the East Coast.
That's like 7 p.m. in Vegas, though.
Yeah, but, this is designed more for European viewers to watch during the day on Sunday rather than American viewers in the middle of the night. There has been so much hype for this race, though. For a year and a half when it was first announced, the spectacle of driving a race on the Las Vegas Strip. They have put, I read somewhere, $500 million into the infrastructure to make this happen. That's like 2 Snapdragon stadiums just for a temporary race course that they're going to tear down as soon as this weekend is over. And yesterday, they went through their first practice and they had to cancel it after 8 minutes because one of the concrete seals on the manhole cover failed, and it caused one of the drivers who went over it. It sparked up. It caused some damage to the $15 million F1 car. They had to stop practice. People who were there in the stands booing. They've been waiting forever for this. They didn't even get to see practice. The overestimates for how much people were going to want to do this has been crazy. Because they said, the $3,000 a night hotel rooms. Even the cheap, Excalibur rooms are going to be going for $600, $700.
You can do the whole package now for $8.
There are hotel rooms on the Strip now, $20. Maybe a little more for the weekend, but it's nothing like they thought it was going to be.
Oh, man.
They say the Strip is
like a
dead.
disaster.
They say the Strip is dead. The restaurants are empty. No one wants to go around because it's such a hassle. Even walking is
airport's insane.
Huge hassle. No one wants to go by the Strip. No one wants to take Ubers to anywhere near it because of the traffic is so bad. Locals are infuriated, and they know they have 9 more years of this because it's a 10-year deal. This isn't one-off. This is every year for 10 years that they have agreed to do this and put all of this money into it.
I'm speaking a little out of turn because I don't know that it's completely a fair comparison. It kind of felt like it was giving off like Live Tour vibes, like the arrogance. It was like arrogant to come in and be like, nope, if you want to have a hotel view, you're going to pay out the ass, or we're going to block off your view.
Yeah.
Nobody gets to see it unless you're paying a ridiculous amount of money.
We talked a little bit about it last
week. It looks like it's flopping.
And you know, the people that it just kills you is it. But, you know, if you paid $4,000 for a package and you go and have a great time, who cares at the end of the day? I mean,
you kind of care. If
I don't know if you're having
somebody,
a great time, though.
If
the way
somebody
it's
next
set
to you
up.
is getting the
Paid
same
$8.
experience for $50, yeah, $100.
I mean, I don't know. I spent a fortune on those YouTube tickets. I walked out of that thing and I went, now, if the guy next to me got them for $12, I wouldn't have cared. I swear to God.
Really?
I had the time of my life. I walked out, the minute I walked out, I go, I would have paid double for what I paid. I had that much fun. So it's all up to the user. You're going to drive yourself crazy, man, if you live your life like that.
Well, the one thing they do have going for it, I saw the video of like the safety car, the first test run on the track. As expected, it's very cool to see race cars
awesome.
driving down that strip. I mean, that part of it is cool as advertised.
I think it'll be cool. And again, you learn. You have 9 more years of this, so you learn from your mistakes. You do it right. You price it right.
I hope so.
And I think it's going to. Now, listen, am I going to stay up on Saturday night till 10 p.m. to watch it? No. I'm going to watch some highlights on Twitter the next morning like everybody else. But I think it can still be salvaged. And quickly, let's play Do This.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
You know, we are all massive man crushing on Scott Van Pelt always. None more than Ben, but I really love and respect Scott Van Pelt. I'd love to interview him someday, Paulie.
Sometimes I wish I was bald, just because I like him so much.
You should try that. You should try that.
Ooh,
we'll see if you
look
look as
terrible.
cool. You see if you look as cool.
Just
my
missed
hair,
Halloween.
My hair is one of my best qualities, and my head is one of my worst. It would be such a mistake for me to ever shave my head.
Well, we picked Pat McAfee for you. We probably should have picked Scott Van Pelt.
SVP.
So listen to how he describes what's going on in Oakland. I love this.
I love Vegas, but man, do I hate this for Oakland. They went through it with the Raiders and now this, and I can't even imagine how horrendous next year will be. For the team and for its fans. It's like living in the same house when you're already divorced. Ownership has done all it could do to make this positively awful. They raised prices on tickets, including a single game increase to the reverse boycott game last year when fans turned out in the largest numbers of the season in protest to the potential move. They've allowed the dilapidated stadium they play in to further deteriorate. They put a 110-loss team on the field, and now they are leaving. But first, hey, everybody, enjoy a lame duck season. Last year's attendance in Oakland, 832,352, lowest in the league by a lot. Why would a single person, even if they love this team and have their whole life, why would anyone give a single dollar to this ownership after this? I wouldn't.
Really makes you think, doesn't it, San Diego? Really
well, I mean,
makes you
there's
think.
a reason why the Chargers never said they were leaving until after the last game was played in San Diego.
Smart.
Yeah, it was like January 7th.
Yeah, it was like a week or so
like
after the season was over when Dean said, oh, no, we're going to L.A. And, I mean, you kind of thought that it was going to happen, but you could at least hold out hope that something would happen and keep the Chargers in town. This season, Scott's absolutely right. I mean, maybe some opposing fans will go to watch their team, but there's no reason an A's fan should go and support that team or send any money to that owner.
You'd have to wear a disguise. Like if I was like, hey guys, I'm gonna go. I miss it so much. I'm gonna go to the game tonight. You'd have to wear like a trench coat and a mustache to go in and watch them.
And
it's
while
so
I am always, I will always stand for San Diego and our misery that we've had in our professional sports franchises. Hard not to argue for Oakland now. They've lost the Raiders, the Warriors, and the A's now in a span of, 5 years?
Yeah, it's such a bummer, man.
That's about as bad as it gets for sports
We'll talk
fans.
about all this and more with Casey Pratt coming up later in the show.
And that's
really
do this for a Friday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Padres fans, we had some news yesterday involving the control of the team. We can come back to our discussion of Eric Kutsenda that we started in our first hour and what that's going to look like for the Padres going forward. Also, you said you were going to watch the Thursday night football game last night. You did?
I did. I watched a lot of it.
Are you sorry that you did?
I texted you guys something. I want to talk to you guys about that.
There was a controversy in the game last night as well. We'll
There's
get to
a
all
few,
of
yeah.
that coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
reason is you've shed a lot of weight and you look great. You walked in this morning, I went, God dang, dude, he looks skinny. He looks skinny. That feels good.
Yeah.
And then leave it to one of the tier ones to just bring you right back down to earth in the chat.
Yes, who was it?
Jeter, 11.
Yeah, Ben Loki looks like Dilbert.
Dilbert, the cartoon guy?
Dilbert, the comic strip.
Dilbert. I haven't
from the calendars and everything.
I haven't seen it in a while. Let me look.
I'm pulling it up on the stream.
Dilbert.
Let me see.
I mean, I got glasses. Dilbert has glasses. I don't think my head's quite so pointy.
His is it's like a rectangle. Let me look at me. I don't see it. Somebody in
I do have a boxy head.
A little bit. Yeah, it's more of a box.
I mean,
it's not long.
It's not as long.
It is
square. Square. I've got a square head. I always ask, when they always ask, do you want rounded in the back when I get a haircut or straight? I go, rounded. I've got enough straightness on my head. I want you to make me as round as possible.
Can I give you some advice on that? Next time you go to, Hair Masters or whatever?
Sport clips. He won't go get his haircut anywhere that doesn't have sports in it. So, perfect job.
When they ask square or rounded, say tapered.
Tapered. Can I take you to get a fancy haircut one time?
I've done it before. I've done a few, and I've never been as satisfied with the results as I have.
You're full of crap.
You're lying.
No.
Is it because they have? That's because you can watch the Clippers highlights and
because
stuff.
when
As
they
you
certainly
get your
like
haircut.
my MVP treatment, and
when they pull like the spray bottle, it comes out of a locker.
Yeah,
'cause they're
that's cool,
sports.
too.
He loves that feeling of watching. He's like, "Oh, look at this! What did how'd Westbrook do last night?"
affordable. It's easy. It's right by my
All right,
house.
I'll pay. I'll pay. Take you to.
I've paid $150 for a haircut, in which my boss then said,
Don't
"You've got to
do
go
that
get a
again."
cut again. Don't do that again."
What did it look like? I'm dying to see.
Dominic says in the chat, do they cut hair at Costco?
Why don't they?
They should. They should absolutely have a barber.
I mean, they have
chair.
barbershops in like Walmarts on the East Coast, and
It'd be $5 and you get like 4 haircuts.
and a slice of pizza.
Jeter said, "I didn't mean it like that." I don't know how you could mean it that Ben looks like Dilbert.
I meant it in the nice way.
In the nice way.
Oh.
A guy said the other day that I looked
What
like
did I do?
somebody from Iron Man 2, and we looked, and it
Ben
was
got so mad he left the chat.
Yeah, I accidentally
Mickey
left
Rourke.
the chat.
Did you? What happened?
I just accidentally I was scrolling around. I clicked a button. So
Funny. That is funny. Well,
All right.
don't let that one negative comment bring you down.
I'm not down.
You
Do
keep
I look
shining.
down?
Keep shining,
It's hard to bring me down.
Dilbert.
Hard to bring me down. All right, everybody knows
Squarehead.
Yeah,
Everybody knows Dilbert. Everybody knows Tony Kornheiser. But to get him unfiltered, check out the Tony Kornheiser Show podcast. The iconic voice of PTI is a roller coaster of wit and wisdom. It's smart and it's funny. It's his unique perspective on the sports world. Unleash your curiosity and join the conversation. Follow the Tony Kornheiser Show on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. I want to talk a little bit about the Thursday Night Football controversy that's actually being investigated by the NFL.
Is it what's it called? The hip dip? The hip dip
No,
tackle?
not
not
something
that
else.
one.
Something else.
Oh, the other.
The other one.
This is juicy.
Right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, it was nice while it lasted, but now we got a few problems. Crash on North 805 at 47th Street. It's over the right shoulder. Also traveling on northbound 5 right before Civic Center. Accident involving several vehicles, including a motorcycle. That's in the center divide. Northbound side of the 15 at Rancho Bernardo Road off-ramp. There is a collision over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Bengals and the Ravens last night in Baltimore, and I did learn what a hip drop tackle is.
I did too.
And unfortunately, it cost Mark Andrews, tight end for the Ravens, his season. Going to be out for the rest of the year.
Brutal.
Basically, it's a tackle where the defender comes, grabs you by the hips, and then essentially just falls, drops like on the back of your legs, which, of course, as you're going to imagine, causes a lot of, like ankle-type injuries, as it did to Andrews. It's being talked about around the league as something they may want to ban, a la like the horse collar tackle and ways you can't bring guys down. It seems like it's got to be so hard to bring those guys down to begin with, and they keep limiting the way defensive players can actually then, how can you touch the quarterback? Really only between like
Here and
like
here.
below the neck and above the waist.
But
and
don't hit him in the
t-
sternum too hard.
And you can't hit him with your helmet or your shoulder or anything other than, I mean, they're making it very hard for defensive players. At the same time, sucks for the Ravens to lose their tight end on a play like that early in the game yesterday.
No, it does, and I saw one of my favorite sports guys from Dallas basically tweeted, what are we doing here? We keep talking about wanting to protect these players, and then you got the litany of comments of it's just football, dude. Don't be so soft. And I am so freaking on the fence with it. I watched the tackle 100 times. I can see the defender grab him and then just kind of ride him to the ground, which, by the way, like, that guy's a beast. He's a unit. He can run through an arm tackle any day of
As
the
Dominic
week.
in the chat says, serious question. Without the hip drop tackle, how else
How do
is
you
someone
get him
supposed to
down?
pursuit tackle from behind?
Correct.
Hey, could you stop for a second so I could tackle you safely as opposed to
Now-
in a dangerous manner?
And, of course, John Harbaugh came out last. That'd be weird if Jim had something to say.
He
Now,
probably
he's
does.
suspended. But he did say it definitely was a hip drop tackle. It's being discussed. It's a tough tackle. Was it even necessary in that situation? The other one on the sideline, there's always plays that you send in the league to have them look at and interpret for you. The other one that he was referring
Lamar
to was
Jackson.
the hit on Lamar. He was taken to the ground by Wilson. So, yeah, it's just like when they banned the horse collar, I go, I get it. I fully understand why I'm going full speed. You can't just grab me around the neck and yank me to the ground.
And at some point, they had to ban face masks.
I get it. Like, it totally makes sense to me when you do that. This one is going to be so hard to judge, to call at a moment's notice, because if you looked at it in full speed, you won't see it. It just looks like a tackle, and the guy got his leg caught and tripped. There's nothing more disturbing in football when you see a guy get rolled up on. The lineman that's just like, and he's defenseless. Man, it's a very, very brutal sport. It's a tough sport. What a hard line it is to work every day, Ben, by trying to keep the guy safe, but also not taking away from the fabric of the game, which is hard hitting and tackling and getting guys down and things like that. It's just gotten so tough. It is a tougher watch now than it used to be.
But while the NFL is looking into the hip drop tackle, what they're actually starting to investigate, and could be even a bigger controversy today, is the Joe Burrow situation. Joe Burrow, quarterback for the Bengals, who apparently an Amazon camera caught him getting off the bus. And if you kind of blow it up and look, you can see under his long sleeves on his wrist a brace that was there. And Joe Burrow did not appear on the Cincinnati Bengals injury report during the week, but then throws a pass in the second quarter, touchdown pass to Joe Mixon. But as soon as the ball leaves his hand, you can see him just going, like, what happened? You didn't get hit. I mean, he didn't hit someone's helmet or anything. He simply was writhing in pain on the ground. He was not able to return to the game. And now everyone's wondering, you went into this game hurt. You went into this game hurt, and you did not put it on your injury report. You did not tell people the way you were supposed to. At the very least, you should be listed as probable wrist, according to NFL rules. If you're in that much pain going into the game, you're not supposed to hide that. It's a concern for gamblers as well. I saw Jason McIntyre tweet, anyone who bet on the Bengals should get a refund. I mean, you bet on the Bengals assuming you were told that Joe Burrow was going into the game healthy. You knew he wasn't healthy early in the season, so you bet on the Bengals at your own risk.
Isn't that what it is?
On the Bengals, would you have still bet on the Bengals if you knew Burrow was dealing with a hand injury?
If I was going to bet on the Bengals, and I didn't, I would have said, is Joe Burrow starting? He is? Cool, I'm riding with the Bengals.
If you knew he was hurt.
If he starts...
I think there's a lot of people, though, who said, hey, I really like the Bengals in this game, but if you'd said Joe Burrow is dealing with a wrist injury, he's still planning to start, but don't know the severity of it, they might back off, bet less at least.
I think
that's a factor in your decision.
What week are we in? 12? 11?
11.
I would think to myself, Joe Burrow's dealing with a hand injury. He is going to start. And if I'm still riding with the Bengals, I'm still riding with the Bengals because who's not dealing with something at this point in the season? I understand the beef. I don't know that you should get your money back if you bet on the Bengals last night. He played for a while, but I will tell you, man, I
guess I agree. I don't think they should get a refund because that
Right.
happened earlier. It happened with the Aaron Rodgers, the first game of the year.
Yes,
and we're like, that's a slippery slope.
Slippery slope.
The Bengals
But I do
face
think
some
it's
sort
worth
of
investigating.
fine or punishment for not disclosing that information? And had they disclosed it, what would the Ravens have done about it? Would they, hey, target his wrist, we're going after him? I mean, was that the concern?
Did they say what it was?
Sprained wrist.
Okay, because when he threw that ball and then just doubled over in pain, I'm like, oh my god!
I promise
man,
you wouldn't have bet on the Bengals if you saw that video.
If you
before
saw
the game.
that video before the game, you
Pre-game.
wouldn't have. Yeah, no question. Like you're riding the Ravens hard.
And then you saw him on the sideline trying, and
That was
really
tough.
looked like he was in a lot of pain. Who knows what happens going forward? But as we said yesterday, that was kind of a close to must-win game for the Bengals. They're now last place in their division, even though they're 5-5. They're 2.5 behind the Ravens, 2 games behind the Browns, or at least the winner of the Browns-Steelers game coming up. They're going to be 2 games behind that team after Sunday. The Bengals are not going to make the playoffs. I looked at the remaining schedule. There's a lot of tough games. I mean, the path to 10 wins,
I was very upset.
The path to 10 wins, which you've got to feel like is what it takes to get to the postseason minimum in the AFC, is just not there, I don't think, for the Cincinnati Bengals in that division this year. So
how are you guys?
Ultimately, for a team that had some Super Bowl aspirations and was in that Super Bowl just a couple of years ago, going to be a very disappointing season in Cincinnati.
How are you guys feeling about the NFL this season? Are you still? I texted you guys something last night, and I go, I think it was, if you watch games like this, and you wonder to yourself why NFL remains king, and the quality of NFL. This happened to me. When did we start together?
2018.
2018. So I did my first ever sports radio show across the street as a fill-in guy a few years before that. And it was the worst season of NFL. Every quarterback was down. Like 85% of them. You couldn't even put a game on. You're like, this is horrendous. It's a horrendous product. It remains king. But it only is king if the best quarterbacks are playing. If it's 2 backups playing last night, I don't understand it. I don't understand. It's such an inferior product when that one position isn't good. And this season has just felt, to me anyway, it's hard to hold my attention. It's very, very difficult.
Is it hard to appreciate a really good defensive team? I mean, one that really is built on defense, like the Ray Lewis Baltimore Ravens.
If they're beating good opponents with good quarterbacks, that they're beating them because they're so good defensively, yes, I can absolutely appreciate it. If they're going out and beating Bajent and guys like that, I'm like, I mean, BFD, that's kind of what you're supposed to do. It just, I don't know. I don't know what is.
I mean, I saw the Browns are bringing in Joe Flacco.
Correct.
And I think for a workout this week.
Honestly, man, 90% of it is because we don't have a team here. That's what 90% of it is. If we did, I'd probably be, both feet in. And now I put on a game, and it's just background noise. Last night I'm watching that game. I'm like prying my eyes open to watch that game once Joe.
I mean,
went down.
you can guarantee the Chiefs games are good. Eagles games. I mean, there's
like somebody just said, it's second string quarterbacks are so bad. Imagine only having one good pitcher out of 5, and only every 5 games you watch, you're like, okay, now I can tune in. That's how it is. I mean, it's terrible. The quality is terrible right now.
We're halfway home here on a Friday. We'll reset Padres and baseball when we come back. Hour number 3 of Ben and Woods coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's too early. You did it too early again. Sorry, Jordan. What are you laughing at?
The
look at
YouTube stream.
Oh, there it is. If you're not on YouTube, sorry. You need to be. Ben as Dilbert. Photoshopped by Jordan. Tier 1 Jordan. Thanks a lot, Jeter. He will be Dilbert. Dilben.
Dilben.
For the rest of his life. It does look a little like Dilbert when he puts your head on the body. But you're much thinner than Dilbert.
Yeah, Dilbert's not as thin as I
breasts
thought.
that are hanging down below his belt? What is going on there?
He's got two guts. He's got his left gut and his right gut.
How do you split that down the middle? Holy cow. All right, there he is.
And
well,
here
welcome
I am
back.
in reality.
Welcome back. We are halfway home on a Friday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. National Take a Hike Day today. Paulie is heading to Denver after the show.
I'll be taking a hike probably tomorrow.
National Unfriend Day as well. Is there anybody that you'd like to unfriend?
Unfriend.
Does that mean on social media?
I would assume
I would assume so, too.
Yeah, I don't think there's
You
an
don't call
actual-
someone as, I'm not your friend
I'm
anymore.
unfriending you.
Hey, I just, it's been like 12 years since we've talked.
We're
I just
just-
wanted to let you know
I'm
I'm
just
officially unfriending you.
Yeah, don't call me, don't text me, and you don't anyway. It's interesting. National Unfriend Day as well. It's kind of a negative tone for a Friday.
Woodsy, you took a hike in the last hour of our show yesterday. I want to assure everybody that you're doing okay.
I'm doing better. I still don't know really what happened. A little green around the gills. Got a little nauseous about, almost around this time. A little bit after this time
This
yesterday.
is when we were eating.
Yeah, we were eating.
So it was about 30 minutes from now.
Yeah, and I just hit me wrong, man. There was something in it that got me, and went in the bathroom. I vomited twice in the bathroom, and that was not pleasant.
Yesterday's show wasn't on a smooth track even before you left.
No.
It went completely off the rails after you were gone.
I did not listen.
It was kind of a train wreck going into the last 45 minutes.
Well,
I almost thought I went during the break. And I wanted to bring in the managers to question them, to see who poisoned you.
Yeah, and why?
Well, we know why. I mean,
Yeah, it's not out of the
why
realm of
is not in
possibility.
question. Your Woods, their managers.
That's true.
I think the motive is fairly clear here. You are the one of anyone in this building. If the managers wanted to poison someone, not permanently,
No, not
but
kill.
just to cause you some distress
maim,
and
yes.
discomfort.
Yeah.
They
I would be the
they
pick.
might take a little joy in that, just, But, I mean, you're very successful. You do a lot of good things for the station. They wouldn't want to kill you.
Right, just
They
hurt
want
me.
you to be here. But to hurt you a little bit, just to make you suffer, just temporarily, I can see why the managers might want to do that. And there were a lot of suspects in the building.
Elisa asks if anybody else got sick. No, I was the only one that
No.
got sick. I probably was the only one that found a big piece of plastic in my omelet as
I
well.
thought Adam was like suspect number one. Looks innocent, always has your back, supports you a ton, but
does.
you ride him so hard.
I hip tackle him.
Yeah,
on
and
the daily.
It felt like if there
don't
was
think he was
someone
cooking.
I hip drop him.
who had the motive and the means in there to do something to Woods' omelet.
I don't think Adam was cooking, though, but he might
Yeah.
have helped and contributed.
There was
and-
Michael, who is our big boss.
Yep.
He's always listening, very supportive, obviously.
He texted me yesterday to make sure I was doing okay. I really appreciate it. More than you guys did, that's for
But
sure.
you do say a lot of things that worry him on the air about, what's going on, what's not getting done. But here's I think the main suspect. Because remember, anytime you complain about something not working,
he gets in trouble.
Michael calls JR, who's our main engineer. He was also the omelet chef. And
He was.
JR, I think sometimes feels like Woods inadvertently maybe gets him into trouble sometimes with Michael. JR might have had more motive and
I
means
feel like we're playing Clue.
than anyone else
JR
to
with
poison
the griddle,
Woods.
with the omelet maker in the kitchen.
And the plastic that ended up in my omelet is still very suspect. I should have saved that evidence.
That was the evidence. Was that from the cheese bag? I have no idea where it came from.
No
But
idea.
Yeah, you had something in your omelet. JR was cooking the omelets. We love JR.
I love. I go way back
But
with
you
JR.
do-
JR and
You
I
do
have-
a JR voice on the air. Maybe he doesn't like that.
What'd you do to it? What'd you do to my omelet, JR?
Hey, where'd the Encinitas hillbilly go?
Yeah. Oh, you run off sick again?
There's a little tension there. There's
no
bit of tension
He's
there.
great. Me and him have been through some S together.
Oh,
man.
look at Adam in the chat.
He's in the chat?
Adding suspicion here
Why
with
don't you
just
get
an
to work?
emoji.
Get out of the chat.
See, there you
Go
are
do
again.
something.
Spring training booked yet?
Yeah. Have you approved our spring training yet? Good Lord.
Sales staff, you're very hard on our sales staff. There was definitely could have been Sam, could have
there
been
anyone
one of
you're
the
not
other
hard
members
on?
of the sales staff
I'm pretty
over
easy
there
on you guys.
complaining about, hey, why can't you get our commercial orders in faster? Where's the better script? What's
What kind
going
of copy
on?
is this?
There are so many suspects as to who would have poisoned Woods yesterday.
Yeah, it'd be tough. It'd be tough to needle it down and whittle it down to who it might actually be. But yeah, man, I don't know.
Or was it me?
It could have been you. I just did not feel great. Caitlin says, way to go. Everybody hates you. They don't hate me.
They don't hate you.
It's not a hatred thing.
But I feel like there were some people who might have secretly enjoyed your suffering for a few minutes.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Balsamic Vinny says, I need someone to sample my food. Yes, I like that
the taster.
idea. The taster.
The royal
taster. Yeah, so I felt pretty bad most of the day yesterday and then felt like crap this morning. I feel great now. Actually feel really, really good.
You've improved as the morning's gone
Yeah, I
on.
feel really, really great. Probably the Adderall. That probably helps. I feel pretty fantastic and locked in. But thanks for covering for me for the last hour or so, or 45
We
minutes
really
or whatever.
didn't. It was we had topic wheel, which actually
Which
that
was a
turned into a
disaster.
disaster as well.
How do you mess up a topic?
Like
that?
everybody we called was like, "Hey, can
I want to answer
wanna
the last
all
question.
four.
I want to answer all the questions. It was. I did not do a good job of keeping everybody in line. What
happened yesterday?
As I said, it went off the rails.
I said this to Hannah yesterday. I said, around this time of year, every year, there's so much to look forward to. There's Thanksgiving, there's Christmas with the family, there's Christmas vacation, there's the Christmas and holiday extravaganza. You get a little bit senioritis. You do. And I have a little bit of that right now. Baseball's done for the most part. Still some news trickling in about trades and offseason moves, and those are fine. But this time of year, I'm like, let's go, let's get to vacation. Then about 3 days into vacation, I'm like, I cannot wait to get back to the audience, the mic, hanging with our friends every day. It's very, very difficult.
We don't have the same schedule as a lot of maybe like corporate types because we got a show every morning unless we're off, and we're really just thinking about the next day's show. Occasionally we'll look ahead like the extravaganza and plan things, but we pretty much are reacting to what happened yesterday and talking about it on the air. But in like the corporate world, there's these long-term projects that you're going on, and I saw recently online that a lot of people are, once you get to November, you're in let's circle back after the holidays mode already. And then December is obviously the holidays. So once you get to November, like no work gets done again until January.
Yeah, it's a tough time of year. And corporate America is really, really difficult. I mean, you are gritting your teeth to get to that 2-week vacation if you have one.
But
if you're
everyone
lucky
gives you a
enough to have
pass.
one.
Once you get close to Thanksgiving, it's like, well, we don't want to start anything big. Thanksgiving's coming up.
We
and
can't
then
have a pass. though.
Christmas, people are going to be off, and then and then you get through
keep
the holidays.
You keep having shows like we did yesterday. Nobody's going to listen anymore.
You
That's the
you
problem.
pretty much
Padres announce a new manager. We're like, all right, we'll get to that. We'll circle back on that after
You
the
pretty
holidays.
much work February to May, and then it's summer, and everyone's taking vacations all summer, and then maybe you work in like September and get all budgets and stuff ready into October, and then it's circle back again after the holiday season again. There's like 5 months of actual work done in corporate America, and
That's
we're
not
already.
true. That is just not true.
That's my read of the situation.
You have never worked in
I have
corporate
no
America.
idea.
Bro, you are like if you're a salesman, if you were in sales, bro, it's Thanksgiving Eve, and you're like, would you like to buy? Like you're grinding all year.
Jake says
long.
this is the time of year. If you haven't hit your numbers the next 6 weeks, all stress.
You're dead. Yeah, you're just dead. You're like, I'm going to lose my job. That's just the worst.
Michael's the other way. Can confirm half my department taking off next week. The final 3 weeks of the year, basically, the entire department taking 2 of those 3 off.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're where you need to be, yeah, it's a great time of year to coast. I mean, you can really, really cruise. We can't. We keep having shows like we did yesterday. Nobody's going to listen. We're going to flush that one. We're going to move on. was like the Padres 2023 season. But no, I feel much better today. Thank you guys, and thanks for all the concern. I was getting a lot of nice messages asking if I was feeling better, and I was green, man. I went in the bathroom. I was like, dude, I look like death.
That's is this a bit? I go, I don't
You're
think so.
Like, you know me. You know I'm not trying to get out of 45 minutes of work.
Like you were pale.
I was pale.
You looked awful.
Oh, it was terrible.
Well, given everything that's gone on, it's been a tough week. Coming up later this hour, we're going to bring back one of Woods' favorites, and I want to get people thinking about it right now. But at 8:35, we are going to do spiritual mouthwash.
Oh,
that was
yes,
your
I
idea,
forgot we were
right?
going to do that.
It's your idea. What is spiritual mouthwash? It is anything, really. It's something positive that's going on in your life that you want to share with everybody here on the Ben and Woods program on our platform.
I do too, man. Get it in
Could
you.
be something family, could be something work-related.
We get such great calls every time.
We do. Could be you just fell in love.
Yep.
Could be you're getting a divorce
Birth
and
of
you're
a
happy
child.
about that.
Yep.
Whatever.
Or that.
But we want you to share your good news with us this hour on Ben and Woods, and we're going to be doing that coming up here shortly. So if you want to think it over, if you want to get online, you can, 833-288-0973. Get ready for some spiritual mouthwash coming up this hour to finish off what has been obviously a tough, long, difficult week here in San Diego.
No question about it, man. And you know, there's a lot of it's been cathartic as well. It's nice to be able to celebrate somebody like we did, and somebody that's so worthy of a celebration.
Yep.
And you feel absolutely 100% fine dedicating a 4-hour show to the man that was Peter Seidler. You don't even think twice about it. You don't think twice about it. There's nothing that pops up where you're like, ooh, yeah, but what about this? What about that? Nope. 100%. And it's really touched me this week, and I think it's touched a lot of the tier ones as well.
Speaking of Peter Seidler, obviously the Padres are having to move on with some business going forward, and we got the word yesterday from The Athletic doing the reporting first that Rob Manfred has named Eric Kutsenda from Seidler Equity Partners as the new control person on an interim basis for the San Diego Padres, at least for now. If there's any league decisions that need to be made, he'll have that final vote and say on what's going on forward. I believe he and Eric Rupner were at those owners' meetings this week that took place. They discussed some competition issues. We mentioned yesterday the idea of reducing the pitch clock from 20 seconds to 18 seconds with men on base. There was some more reporting of some other rule changes that were brought up yesterday. One of them that I agreed with 100%. Woods, you'll probably disagree because you don't like the changes as much. If a pitcher warms up, they have to face a batter. I don't ever remember this happening until the last season or two, where you'd have a guy who pitched the 7th inning, he'd then come back and warm up in the 8th, and then they'd call for a pinch hitter, and then the manager would come out and switch the pitcher right after the warm up. So we could have gone through this whole process in between the innings, and now you have another pitcher who has to come in and warm up before a single pitch has been thrown that inning.
You know what I'm fine with? I'm fine with 3 warm-up pitches from the mound. Just do that. You don't need 8. You don't need 8, 9. You don't. You just threw lights out the bullpen.
They did want to enforce once the guy comes in from the bullpen, once his foot hits the warning track, lowering that time from 2:15 to 2 minutes.
Okay.
To at least speed up that warm-up process a little bit. No matter how many pitches you've thrown, hey, clock hits 0. It's time to play baseball.
Let's go.
But you saw that a few times this year, where a pitcher would warm up for the inning, like in the break, and then you come back, and all of a sudden you're making a pitching change. Nothing has happened.
They're putting
it's just a waste of time.
Up a pinch hitter.
Yeah, they're throwing, and then you're changing your pitcher.
So you think one batter?
At least, you have to face the 3 minimum.
Well,
but
right,
if
but
you've
if you
already
did the inning
faced your
before.
3, you have to stay in. Now, maybe the pinch hitter has to be sent up early. If you're going to pinch hit against the guy,
then yeah, do it.
Send it right away so they know. So it's not like.
There's some strategy, though.
Yeah, but it's just a waste of time for people who are watching at home or at the ballpark. Extra warm-ups that you don't need. Why does a guy need to warm up when he's not going to actually pitch anymore? If they're going to use a pinch hitter and you know you're taking him out if that happens, you just send him out for no reason to warm up and throw.
He's throwing and staying warm in case they don't go to the pinch hitter there.
But we should be able to know that faster. We shouldn't have to wait until
It's like a stalemate, though.
Yeah.
He's looking in the dugout. The pitcher's looking in the dugout. Are you going to do this?
You gonna do this or not? I'm
All
going
right,
to warm up
am I
here.
in?
And
Am I
then,
out?
and then he brings in, okay, let's go to the lefty now. So,
Yeah, I don't really mind that one too much. I don't. That one doesn't bother me. Don't mess with my strategy too much. Let me employ what pitchers. You already killed me with the 3-batter minimum rule, which sucks. But you know what? It's part of the game now. You ride with it. Don't tell me I can't. Don't tell me I can now. My guy's done the 3. You asked me for 3. I gave you 3. Now you're going to put up a pinch hitter. I want to go to my lefty and get him out because I'm going to have to throw him for 3 as well. I have no problem.
I think that the team that's hitting the if you're going to send up a pinch hitter to start the inning, you have to announce that like within the first 30 seconds of like when the inning ends. Like
that's fair.
You know who's coming up. You're the manager. It's not like, oh, wait, the inning's about to start. I don't want this guy coming up. I want someone else coming up. These managers know what they're about to do. They're just waiting until the last second to, I don't know. They think it's some sort of strategic advantage, like you said, to wait until the last second to announce that.
For sure.
All right, let's take a timeout. If you want to get online for spiritual mouthwash, you can do so. 833-288-0973. If we get enough callers, we can go the rest of the hour on good news from here in San Diego. Stick around with more Bennett Woods after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan by hour. This hour of 97.3 The Fan brought to you by Smart & Final. Score a Turkey Day touchdown when you shop your whole feast in one trip, and that's it at Smart & Final. Use promo code SFThanks for free delivery on your next order. Now traffic here on The Fan. We're less than an hour away from our next name being called in our biggest fan contest. Stay tuned at 9:15. We will call another name. You'll have 10 minutes to call us back to qualify for our grand prize drawing night in the Odyssey Suite at Petco Park next season for you and 20 of your friends and family. You can register at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. Now, if you win the biggest fan, that would definitely be worthy of spiritual mouthwash. Something good.
100%.
That happened to you. And that's what we're calling for this morning, 833-288-0973. After the week that we have had, we want you to share the good news in your life, family, job, romances, had a nice meal, whatever. It's
a delicious omelet, perhaps.
The floor is yours.
And tell us what you ate.
Yeah, don't call and tell us what you ate.
Let's go out to Steve. Welcome to Spiritual Mouthwash with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
For my spiritual mouthwash, it was hearkening back to, a tough day Monday, but with the Major Garrett interview. And not that he needs no accolades from me, but it reminded me, he used the term, right? Hope, right? And it reminded me of Shawshank and the end of the show with Andy and Red talking about hope. And that's exactly what Peter Seidler, provided. So
you have hope today.
He certainly provided it.
Yeah,
and
he always does.
And you think about the folks, with the A's and their problems and their challenges. At least that I think that's what Peter provided was hope that. For the city and the team, and that was a great reference, I think, that Major Garrett provided. So that's my thoughts for the day. Thanks,
you, buddy. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah,
remember, Red, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I will be hoping that this letter finds you and finds you well.
It's the best movie of all time. Just incredible.
We got some spiritual mouthwash in the YouTube chat. I'll throw it up here. Ray, one of our members, says, my first child is due in a month.
Oh, congratulations.
1 month.
Oh, man, Ray.
Congratulations,
Dude,
Ray.
Congrats, brother. Just the best ride.
Let's keep going on the phones. 833-288-0973. This is Erie. Welcome to Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning.
Morning. First-time caller. Love
Hey.
you guys' show.
Thank you, man.
you.
So I know it's not that big of a deal, but my girlfriend and I we've been having tough times at work the past few weeks and need to get away, but we're going on a cruise for the first time and pretty excited for that over Thanksgiving. So
Okay, now hold on, because I don't know if you heard our segment earlier in the week. Was it earlier this week or this week? Where I talked about my real fear of cruises. So I'm going to need more. Before I can give you my thumbs up, I'm happy for you guys. Where are you going? I need some details on this.
It's a Mexico cruise. We go out of San Pedro. We go to Cabo, Mazatlan, and Puerto Vallarta.
I think you're going to have a phenomenal time.
I do too. Good. I think you're going to have a great time in the tiny cabin. But at least you have your girlfriend make love in the tiny cabin.
You want to be in.
You do. You want to be in
when you're on a cruise with your girlfriend.
Well, when she's your girlfriend, you do. Once she's your wife, you're like, ew,
we need some more space.
Let's get another cabin, perhaps, maybe. And it's not just you; it's her. You do that for her. You want to give her space. Congratulations. Have a great time on your cruise. Will you call in and let us know if you got diarrhea on it? Because I really...
You'll be fine.
I'm very nervous about it.
Don't let Woods freak you out, Erie. Have a great time on your cruise.
Diarrhea from an omelet. It's a him thing. It's
not
you.
Now, seasickness is a real thing, and you do have to adjust a little bit.
That's how I felt yesterday. I felt seasick, yes. And I've never even really gotten sick on a boat, but I had that just kind of like... it was
I only went on one cruise, went with my parents. I think it was in junior high. The first night when you're kind of sitting at dinner and they pull out and you're there in a big room and all of a sudden you feel, wait, we're moving. I can't really see anything. There's no window right next to me, but I feel us moving and I'm trying to eat dinner and that queasiness does start to hit you just a little bit.
How old were you when you went?
I was like 13.
Where'd you go?
We went on one of those Disney cruises in Florida to the Bahamas.
Okay. Yeah. How was it?
Oh, it was other than the first night. It was fun. It was fun. You got to go to these little like private islands, and
Yeah, that's fun.
that was pretty cool.
You got 15 minutes here. Need you back on the boat.
Yeah,
Come on back after your 15
the
minute
boat shuttle.
respite.
Be back and be ready, and the midnight buffets and everything. I like to explore the boat. They had just kind of go around pools.
Did you meet any lady friends on there?
I don't think I did.
That's a bummer.
Let's get one more in before the break. Spiritual mouthwash. This is Eric. Next up here on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning, Eric.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Eric?
I'm doing all right. Just wanted to share my daughter, my 14-year-old daughter, is a competitive gymnast, and she's been doing this for probably about 6-7 years or so. And this last summer, she was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis that really affected her this last season. She couldn't grip the bar. She could do a lot of different things. So this last summer, she, like I said, she was diagnosed with it. They put her on a medication, and a bunch of the doctors were talking about it and stuff. And tomorrow is her first competition of the new season.
Nice.
And her doctors, her doctors and her coaches are amazed with her progress.
That's amazing.
That's
man.
fantastic.
That's so cool.
I love that.
Best of luck.
That kid, oh man, thank you. Appreciate it. That kid just, I can't think of just how incredible that kid is.
That's amazing.
What's your
dude.
daughter's name, Eric?
Yeah, what's her name?
Danica.
Danica, good
Go
luck.
get 'em.
Yep.
Kick some ass tomorrow.
I named her after Danica Patrick because I wanted her to know she could do anything she wanted.
Nice.
That's
Sound like a
amazing.
really
you
good
guys
dad.
make me cry in here, dude.
Yeah.
God
That's
dang.
the point. That's spiritual mouthwash.
You got me.
Cry
man.
about it every time I think about it. I almost cry. So, but hey, thank you guys, and keep doing the good work you guys are doing.
Thank you,
We
man.
love listening.
Appreciate it
Appreciate it,
so
Eric.
much. That's so cool, dude.
Wow.
It's
Love that.
it's just like that. It can be anything personal,
Dude, keep 'em
professional.
coming.
Keep 'em
There's gotta
coming.
be
Yeah,
stories.
we're gonna take time out.
We
but-
can do an hour on that.
Yeah, we got open phones right now. So 833-288-0973. You want to share? Get in right now. We'll come back with some more Friday spiritual mouthwash with Ben and Woods here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, coming back with some more spiritual mouthwash with Ben and Woods. Just the positivity in your life right now that you want to share with San Diego. 833-288-0973.
Got off to a great start.
Yeah,
very good.
Really, really good. Let's check traffic, and then we'll come back and take some more calls here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Accident involving a motorcycle is finally cleared up on northbound at 5 past Mile of Cars Way, so speeds are getting back to normal there. Heading south on the 5 coastline right before the 805 split. Watch out for some debris reported in middle lanes. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's go out to Tiffany. Tiffany, welcome to our spiritual mouthwash on Ben and Woods. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Now loud and clear.
Okay, great. So I have some really fun news. Well, the fun news is, well, it's not fun. I was diagnosed with cancer 4 years ago. Obviously, that's life-changing. I was 45 years, well, I guess it was 5 years ago. 45 years old, 2 kids. I'm a teacher, married to a firefighter. But here's the good news. I'm having my 50th birthday party at my house tomorrow, house party style, DJ, taco guy, and 70 of my best friends.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, and I know it just means more. Is Ben invited?
Yeah.
Do you want Ben there? He will dance for you.
Oh,
I will go to any
absolutely.
party with a taco guy.
He will. He's
Yeah.
skinny now.
Tiffany,
though.
have you seen Magic Mike?
Yeah, have you seen Magic Mike?
Because you don't know what Magic Ben is
Magic
like.
Ben would bring the house down at your birthday.
I don't know. I
party.
do have a mole issue that I need to deal with first. So.
You don't want
Everybody's invited. Anybody that loves the Padres is invited. They're a friend of mine, and I love you guys. I
Thank
listen
you so
all the
much.
time.
You're the best.
And thank you for doing this fun segment. I'd never heard it before, and I was just driving. I'm like, I got a good one. I'm
Yeah.
calling in.
That's
Oh, you
amazing.
got a great one.
Happy
Thank you,
birthday to
Tiffany.
you.
Happy
That's
birthday.
amazing.
Teacher, firefighter. I mean, come on.
It's badasses. I bet that guy didn't go. I bet they don't go home when they have a bad omelet. I bet they just tough it out. That's what I thought about the whole drive. I'm like, you're such a little turd.
That house, I'm going to let it burn down because I
Yeah,
had
he
some
had a
bad
bad
ham.
omelet. No, the guy just fights through it, and he got cancer and
Fire
fighting through
chief
it.
gave me some bad ham in my
God, I'm
omelet.
such a turd. I'm so sorry, everyone.
That was amazing.
Sweet angel.
Awesome. Tough to follow that up, but let's try with Thomas. You're next up on Spiritual Mouthwash.
Good morning. You know what is so amazing is, Tiffany, I hope you're still listening because actually this story is going to be for you. I have twin girls, and my firstborn, her name is Tiffany.
Amazing.
And what's really amazing, I have Tiffany and Sarah. When Tiffany was born, Tiffany had problems breathing, so they started doing all these tests, and I actually held her in this x-ray machine, and they came and told me, and I have a set of these x-rays. They told me, we're really sorry. Your daughter has 2 holes in her heart, and there's nothing we can do. They said if we go to operate on her, she'll die on the operating table. So they actually sent her home with me to die, and they said if she's still alive in 3 days, bring her back and we'll reevaluate her.
My Lord.
Well, I took her to my church. We prayed over her. I took her back 3 days later, and they took 5 sets of x-rays, and they came and told me, we can't explain this, but the holes are closed. And my daughter is a miracle, and she's deemed a medical miracle at Kaiser Permanente Hospital in San Diego, California.
How old is she?
So Tiffany,
Got me.
my twin girls are now 32.
Good
Ah,
Lord,
wow.
man. Holy cow.
You got me, Thomas.
You got me too, bud. Jeez, that's amazing. I hate this segment so much sometimes because all it does
So,
is just
Tiffany,
make me weep.
I really hope Tiffany's still listening. And now it's just, I think it's so, you talk about spiritual. It's amazing that I actually followed someone by the name of Tiffany.
That is wild.
And I got to talk about my daughter, Tiffany.
Thanks so much
So
for the
thanks,
call.
guys.
Thank you, man.
What a story. Wow.
Yeah, that's God. We got to get some tissues in here or something for the love of God. Or like I started wearing sunglasses or something. That would be mine. That I have 2 healthy boys. That's it. And a wife that loves me and tolerates me. That's and a great job and live in a phenomenal city.
I work with 2
Very lucky.
incredible guys every single morning and feel blessed that I get to come in and do something as fun as this and actually get paid to do it. I am a very lucky person.
Yeah, we're all pretty lucky dudes. There's no question about it. I hate this. I'm so emotional.
833-288.
Happy tears finally.
Yeah, for sure.
833-288-0973. Let's try Raphael. Raphael, you're next up here with Spiritual Mouthwash on Ben and Woods.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning, buddy.
How are you guys doing? Happy
Great.
Friday.
Happy Friday to you.
Well, I happen to turn 48 about 3 days after Ben because I'm the 7th. And
I forgot your birthday, too, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I have two stories. One was when I got divorced, my stepson, which I called him my son, I met him when he was 4 years old when I met his mom. And unfortunately, he was about 10 or 11 when I, separated and got divorced. And that was like the hardest thing about that divorce was losing him because he was the closest thing I had to a son. So throughout the years, I've been trying to find it. I've been trying to find him. And then one day, I got in contact with an old Army buddy of mine when I was in Fort Lewis, Washington, that I deployed with in Afghanistan. And he gave me the information to an old first sergeant, and we chatted for over an hour.
That's
and
awesome.
he goes, "Hey man, I encourage you to get on Facebook because I got off of it years ago because I just got tired of all the stuff that was going on." So I did. It's like I took his advice. About maybe not even 2 minutes, I was literally getting bombarded with all these friend requests, and he said about 80% of my unit that I deployed were on there. And so we still talk, and a lot of us are sharing pictures. I lost a lot of the pictures I had in Afghanistan, and I started to cry because I remembered all the good times and the bad times. And even during the worst times, we still found ways to kind of like keep our head up and then just reminisce because it's been like 11, 12 years since I was in Afghanistan. And I was like, well, if 48, Ben, is a good year for us,
let's do it.
Hopefully 2024 will be a good year for all of us.
No doubt.
So, rest in peace, Mr. Seiler. I was with my dad because they found a pretty big mass in his lungs. So he's 80, but, when I saw the news, because we like to watch sports, and I felt like you felt like your dad just passed away because, he meant so much to the city, not to the fans, but as a human being. He was the epitome of a man that just had empathy, sympathy, and compassion for everybody.
I heard that a lot,
and
man.
That should be a testament of who he really was.
No doubt.
And I'll close with that, guys.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Raphael.
Thank you.
I heard that a lot this week. The San Diego feels like it's kind of lost a father, and there's so many people that said, for a guy I did not know and never got a chance to meet, and so many people did. I mean, we had phone calls from guys that sat and had beers with him, which was amazing. But a lot of people called in and said, I feel like I lost somebody really, really close to me. And it's weird because I never met him. And I got a lot of those messages, too. And I said, man, that's just the vibe that you get from him, and that's when you meet him up close and personal, too. That was the vibe that you got. Like, you instantly felt at ease. I don't know that I've ever provided that to anyone other than my kids, maybe. But you feel at ease, when he's around. So that was a really, really good call, and I've got to be done with this bit because I'm telling you,
fine.
I'm
We got one more
throw up.
in the YouTube chat.
Is it the same one?
Our
Adio?
buddy Adio.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Says
Love that
mind
guy.
cleanser. So your boy will no longer be just an employee at the University of Pennsylvania. He'll be a student going for my master's in education.
Had a kid.
Nice.
Very proud of you, man. I've known Adio a
Congratulations,
long
buddy.
time.
Never too late to learn.
And then another
in
one
life.
from our beloved Caitlin said, my spiritual mouthwash is that I had my first therapy session yesterday because I suffer from bad social anxiety. It went so well, I already booked my next session. I'm telling you, it can change your life. You go sit down with somebody for an hour a week. It absolutely will. So congratulations to you. Congratulations to everybody that called in that has good things going on in their lives. And just a tough, man. Tough segment, but a good segment.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. We got a couple of minutes here. I always like to do my best lineup for college football,
yes,
just to get you ready for the weekend.
I'm ready for college because the pros are just not cutting it right now.
Let's see. So this is that weird week where a lot of the SEC teams play the cupcake late in the season and not a league game, but there are some decent matchups. Early, The 9 a.m. slot on Saturday, I picked Michigan at Maryland just because of the whole Jim Harbaugh is going to be suspended. They dropped the appeal yesterday after we went through the whole thing. You weren't here early in the week, but went through Jim Harbaugh's whole Judge Judy, ready to go to court and, fight for my right to be on the sidelines, due process, innocent before, until proven guilty. And then 3 days later, it's like, fine, I'm guilty. I'm taking the 3-game suspension, and we're dropping all the investigations and moving on. So no Harbaugh on the sideline for that game. Now, Michigan is obviously still a heavy favorite against Maryland. And
God, it's only 19, and I'm looking at that going, the way that they're playing
there's no
right
reason that Jim Harbaugh should cost them any points not being there. It's the same team.
Correct.
It's the same coaching staff. It really should make zero difference at all.
And let's be honest.
It feels like they should be 28-point favorites over Maryland.
He's probably found a way to, there's ways around everything, as we know. So
if there is a way, Jim Harbaugh will find it.
They'll find it there at Michigan. So I'm looking at that line going, that's like, in my mind, easiest line I've ever seen to bet, but they always know something that we don't.
I know. There is one big SEC game. It's the 12:30 game on CBS. Number 1 Georgia at number 18 Tennessee. Road game, top 20 opponent. Is this possibly the week where the winning streak finally ends for the Georgia Bulldogs? They have not lost in like 2 years. And they're trying to keep it going at Tennessee, a decent team. I don't think they're as good as Georgia. No. But it's college football. It's Saturday. I'm sure it'll be very orange in that stadium, Neyland Stadium in Tennessee, and it's never easy to win on the road. So I would think that'll be a big game at 12:30. The 4:30 game on ABC, once again, number 5 Washington being put to the test against another top 20 opponent, this time at number 11 Oregon State.
Guess the spread there.
Washington by 3.
Washington +1.
Really?
Yes, underdogs.
Wow.
I know.
Against the Beavers of Oregon State. You keep thinking, if Washington keeps passing these tests, don't they have to move into the top 4 of the playoff
A lot of
rankings?
people are surprised that they're not already.
I am very surprised. I think they should be there already. I think maybe the playoff voters will keep hoping, they're going to, like always in the Pac-12. Every year, the undefeated Pac-12 team always stumbles somewhere. No one ever gets through the Pac-12 all the way undefeated, and this certainly has danger all over it for the Huskies against, a peeved, motivated Oregon State team that got left out in the cold with everybody else going off to their new conferences, left by themselves with Washington State. They would love nothing more than to end Washington's undefeated season in that, little Corvallis. It's going to be a tough place to go play for sure.
They're favored to do it, man. They got the offense to do it as well, so should be an interest. I mean, that's this. When you're a fan of a team like Washington, and you're fighting seemingly every week for your respect, man. These games, Benny. Do you know how many times I've gotten absolutely hosed in one of these games being a Notre Dame fan? Like, this is a game you feel like this is where we stumble. This is where we stumble. Probably why the line is so close. Now, they have the talent to win by 14, easily. But on the road, played so well all season. You cannot afford that hiccup right now.
And then 7:30, Brady Hoke's penultimate game as head coach at San Diego State. I don't even know if I'm going to watch it.
Who are they playing?
San Jose State. They're on the road.
Did you really put that in your best
I did not,
of the week?
Because there's really nothing at night. I'm not competing against anything on this one. There really is no great night games.
Aztecs +14.5. I still think you take.
Can we go back to
San Jose State?
Mouthwash?
Yeah, can we go back to spiritual mouthwash?
I'm gonna cry.
There are a couple more 12:30 games. I know there's a lot of alums down here. USC, UCLA at the Rose Bowl is at 12:30 on ABC. And the game to decide the first place team in the Mountain West. No one ever saw it coming. It's UNLV Air Force at 12:30 on CBS Sports Network.
But no one had that.
The winner is alone in first place and will, I think, clinch a spot in the conference championship game. UNLV and Air Force are the two top teams right now in the Mountain West Conference. That was a stunner as the best Mountain West game of the week for sure. So there's your college football lineup. Basketball tonight at 6:30, ESPN Plus. You've got San Diego State against St. Mary's, two West Coast powerhouses that always seem to find a way to meet in the non-conference part of their schedule. This is the Continental Tire main event at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. On Sunday, the Aztecs will win or lose. If they win, they'll play the winner of Xavier Washington. If they lose, they play the loser of Xavier Washington. It's kind of a quick little 4-team tournament. So tonight at 6:30 against St. Mary's, which would be a quality resume-building win. If
What
they
is
get
a
it,
resume?
a resume-building win. And Dutch will say, and if you lose, it's not a horrible loss because St. Mary's will. I mean, they were a 5.
They're favored.
So last
Mary's
year,
is favored.
Yeah, last year, just like the Aztecs, St. Mary's 5 seed in the NCAA tournament, and they won their first game, and they lost to UConn in the NCAA tournament last year, just like San Diego State lost to UConn just a little bit later than St. Mary's did. So very similar programs on the West Coast. Obviously, very different schools. St. Mary's is this little tiny school.
Where is it?
Moraga, up in the East Bay area.
And the game's here?
But the game is in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas,
in,
okay.
T-Mobile Arena as part of this tournament.
Oh, that's right.
So, they're there for F1 weekend. And no one went because everyone thought, well, I'm not going to pay $900 to stay at the Excalibur to watch an Aztecs game. Now you can probably get that room for like $40 if you want to make a last-minute trip to go see the Aztecs play tonight and Sunday against St. Mary's, and then either Xavier or Washington on Sunday.
Excited, man. Should be a good weekend of college football. Did you do your pro games yesterday?
I didn't. I've got my pro games here. We kind of got it last minute, but let's see. Best NFL games, the 10 a.m. games on Sunday. Pittsburgh-Cleveland. Talked about that a little bit earlier. Las Vegas at Miami. Now, Miami should win that game at home, but the Raiders are 5-5, and if they do win that, they're legit playoff team.
That's
so
amazing to
kind
me.
of a big game. And then Chargers at Green Bay, pretty much a must-win for the Chargers on the road at Lambeau Field at 10 a.m. 1:05, Tampa Bay at San Francisco. It's kind of interesting. I mean, 49ers will be favored at home, obviously, in that one. And then Jets at Buffalo at 1:25.
It's another rough schedule.
It's not the best week.
Not the best for.
I mean, everyone's waiting now
night.
for Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Eagles-Chiefs is the big one. But we can talk about that on Monday when we come back with you and me. Paulie won't be here on Monday.
Italian Paul will be.
We've got 1 hour left of Paul until he's gone until Tuesday at a bachelor party.
Take it away, Paul.
So last Rindle report until Tuesday is coming up when we return here with Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Sleeps in the chat wants to know, when will it be the day that we never talk about any lame Angeles teams, no matter college or professional, never mention again, not even for a second, maybe one day. Maybe Sleeps. But in the interest of, covering it all, there are actual
You don't
teams
have to
that
cheer
live.
for any of them.
No,
there
you
are
just got to mention the
There's
game.
a ton of UCLA and USC alums who live down here. A ton of them.
A ton.
Probably more than San Diego State alums. If you actually counted the population of San Diego County, how many San Diego State alums there are here and how many USC plus UCLA alums are here, I think USC UCLA might win out
Yeah,
in
there's a ton.
that race.
I see a lot. A lot of
So
bumper
just
stickers.
mentioning that they're playing against each other, I think, is a valid. I mean, we didn't break down the matchup. It's kind of irrelevant to the Pac-12 at this point, but they are playing. That's all I said.
Yeah.
And it's on ABC at 12:30.
How dare you?
On Saturday. Did we wish a happy birthday to Tier 1 Sam?
Sammy yesterday.
Was
no.
his birthday yesterday?
Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Sammy.
Happy birthday, Sam.
Happy birthday, buddy. We love you. He's a big USC guy as
Yes,
well.
I know. That's why I thought of him.
Sweet angel.
We have some Trojans and Bruins in our Tier 1 audience.
Yeah,
I know
we
that they
do.
are out there. We've got our biggest fan contest coming up at the end of this segment. We're going to read another name off, qualify someone for our grand prize trip, or not trip, but night at the Odyssey Suite at a Padres game next year. What are you looking
That's some breaking news here out of baseball. The Cleveland Guardians just traded Cal Quantrill to the Rockies for Cody Huff, a
They
22-year-old.
DFA'd him, but they hadn't released him yet, so they could still trade him.
22-year-old catcher who spent last season in A-ball. So, I mean, Cal, it sucks for him.
So that means
pitching
that
in
the
Colorado.
Rockies are taking on his arbitration contract.
Yeah.
They're willing to pay that, about $6.6 million that's estimated for Cal Quantrill in arbitration that the Guardians apparently did not want to. They were going to non-tender him or DFA him, so Rocky said, we'll take him at that price, and have sent the Rockies, sent a couple of prospects, I guess. One prospect.
22-year-old single-A catcher.
All right, well, we mentioned Quantrill yesterday. Maybe it's a
Scratch him
possibility
off.
for the Padres, so cross him off the list.
Cross him off then. This guy here is dead.
Died.
Cross him off then. His ERA is going to balloon. He's probably so mad.
Because then he'll be a free agent, I think,
crap.
at the end of the year if he doesn't sign an extension. Not exactly where you want to go as a pitcher
What do
in
you
your
do?
free agency year.
What do you do if you're Colorado?
Yeah,
What do you
I'm
do?
good. I'm good.
Pierce Johnson went to Colorado.
He was terrible.
Put horrible numbers up.
Got traded to
was
the Braves.
traded to the Braves. Just signed
2 years, 15.
pretty
Yeah.
good deal for
Yep.
Pierce Johnson. So it's not a death sentence to go to Colorado.
It is for a starting pitcher.
But
Is there a worse thing that could happen to you to get traded to the Rockies with 1 year before you hit free agency? You're like, I got to go pitch my ass off to get a bag, and I got to pitch here. What do you do if you're Colorado? Will they ever win a World Series? Can you ever put up? They got close.
Well, they got to one.
They got to one.
They got to one, so you can't say they can't win one. If you can get to one,
Who the hell was on
you
their
can win
Who
one.
was on their staff back then? I need to go back and look.
The Rocktober.
Was that
so
like Mike
was the
Hampton and-
2007? No, I think that was post.
Post Hampton. He had a weird look about him. Good pitcher.
Let's see. So the 2007 Colorado Rockies were led pitching well. This is really kind of going. Let's see. Jeff Francis. No. Yeah. Ubaldo Jimenez was one of their top pitchers. They had our friend Matt Hergis was on
Matt
the team.
Hergis. Holy cow.
He's a good guy. They didn't have a lot of pitching, really. Ramon Ortiz, Byung-Yun Kim was on that team. Elmer Descends.
That's amazing.
Josh Fogg, Aaron Cook.
That's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
I feel bad for Cal, and actually kind of was interested.
Rodrigo Lopez made 14 starts for that Rockies
was
team.
interested in him joining the joining.
They had
the,
a decent
Padres.
bullpen. LaTroy Hawkins, Jeremy Affeldt, Brian Fuentes had a decent bullpen that helped them that year.
Yeah, I think it was probably mostly offensive, but holy cow!
All right,
man.
so Cal Quantrill to the Colorado Rockies. Little baseball news on this Friday morning.
Eno just tweeted, "Oh no, condolences, Cal." Yeah, it sucks for him, man. It really, really sucks.
They had no choice in the matter. You got to go.
Got to go.
Got to go.
Jeez, man. Oh yeah. Birdley says pitchers should be able to opt out of playing for the Rockies like it's a COVID season. Yeah, 100%. Such a bummer. That's a bummer for him. Well, and a bummer for us because I think, we could have flipped a single A catcher to the Guardians and eaten that money. I would have liked Cal Quantrill back here, maybe. Why am I getting so upset about losing Cal Quantrill?
Feels like old school AJ Preller would have done that without a thought.
Yeah.
I need pitching. Yeah, $6 million. Whatever.
Done.
Cal Quantrill. We'll get him back.
No question. It makes me. You know what it does? It makes me nervous. It makes me in my mind. It's stupid and irrational, but in my mind, you know what I thought? Oh, we can't afford him. That's the first thing I thought is, well, the Rockies paying for him. We can't. Dick Manfart's paying $6 million, and we can't pay $6 million. Don't we need pitching? We already declined Waka. That's how my mind goes in the offseason. I turn into a lunatic.
I get it. All right, let's get some headlines from Paulie with the Roundel Report
and get things started here with our today's edition of the Roundel Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right. How we doing, boys?
Fantastic.
Okay, good to hear.
I'm hungry, actually.
Yeah.
Because I haven't eaten a lot the last
No
24
manager's
hours.
breakfast this morning for Woods.
Never again, actually. Bring my own.
Well, after you left yesterday, we had to get to our football threesome segment, and one of our stories, we got an update here today, but one of our stories was talking about Deshaun Watson. He is out for the year, and the Browns are turning to Dorian Thompson-Robinson to the starting quarterback, a rookie.
Super cool.
He's going to get the ball on Sunday going against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And news today out of Browns camp is they're looking to add a third quarterback, and they are bringing in a Super Bowl winning quarterback for a workout, Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco.
At this point, if I'm bringing in a Super Bowl winning quarterback named Joe, might as well just be Namath at this point.
Montana.
Theismann.
Bro, Joe Flacco.
We like Joe Theismann. He's a good Ben and Woods guest in the past.
I have his signed book in my office.
Joe Montana has an epic Saturday Night Live skit under his belt.
He also has 4 rings. That's pretty good.
I mean, you could rank Super Bowl quarterbacks just named Joe, and Joe Flacco is definitely
he's up there,
bottom of the list.
Well, he's like top
4.
Flacco's 38 years old.
Okay.
Last time he slung the football was actually last season. He did throw for the Jets a little bit.
I forgot about that.
A very little bit.
Yeah. Started a couple of games, I think.
So he's a Brown now.
No, he's working out.
He's working out. Okay.
Coming in for a workout.
Joe
Flacco. All right, that's all I got for sports today. Talking about some cell phone news. Now, the 3 of us have iPhones.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have iPhones, but a lot of people also have Androids. And we've all been there, right? When you're texting somebody that doesn't have an iPhone, or if you're an Android and you're texting somebody that has an iPhone, it doesn't work out. Like, have you ever gotten maybe you're in a group chat and somebody has an iPhone? The whole group chat's weird. If you try to or
remember when the emojis wouldn't even work?
I mean, emojis used to not work.
It was just
now
a
it does,
cluster F. Anybody ever send you a video?
Yeah.
And it looks like it was taken on a potato.
On the potato video.
Well,
remember Adam?
Do Android users feel superior though? Like my son, he doesn't. He said, "I don't want an iPhone." He's doing his own. He has his own Android.
There's a type.
Feel like
everybody
feels superior to me. Like I'm a sheep with an iPhone.
There's a type,
and he's superior with his Android.
It's a type. Remember when Adam took the Chris Paddock potato?
Yes.
Picture from the
photos
press.
Photos by Adam.
Photos by Adam was one of my favorite bits that we've ever done. We need to bring that back. The blurriest. I'm like, I call him. I'm like, did you take that with a conch shell? What did you take that with? This is my Android. I'm like, what's your problem with? Like, you can't post that on our social media. It looks like an interpretive piece that you hand painted. It looks like a watercolor.
So
he was so mad.
Apple is coming out with an update next year that I think Android users will enjoy. It's been for like 10 years now. People have dealt with this when trying to communicate between iPhone and Android. The photos and videos are blurry. Group chats are just awful. And so Apple announced they're planning an update next year. It's not going to fix everything, but it will address a lot of those issues. Photos and videos that an Android phone sends to an iPhone will be higher quality. You're going to be able to see if Ben has an Android and I have an iPhone, you'll be able to see the bubbles when somebody's typing that you could only previously see on iMessage with iPhones. And
somebody in the chat says phone racism is real. Phone racism.
Yes.
It is, man. You're absolutely right.
How do those bubbles work?
You broke ass. Get
Like,
your broke ass out of here.
If I start typing a reply but then change my mind,
it just nothing pops up. But the bubbles.
But if I start typing, do the bubbles? But then if I delete
and you wait,
if I delete, do the bubbles go away at that second, or do they stay? I've always wondered how that works.
Ben,
All right.
start sending me a text.
All right, Paul.
Phone
Rindle,
racism is hysterical.
phone racism.
All right, I see no bubbles.
Hi.
No bubbles.
Paul. All right, I'm typing to you. You're seeing nothing?
No bubbles yet.
All right, I'm sending to you now.
Okay, I got the text.
Okay, now I'm going to follow up. A follow-up.
Now I see bubbles.
Okay, now I'm deleting. I'm going down.
I still have bubbles.
Okay, I still have 4 letters, 3 letters, 2 letters, 1 letter.
Bubbles.
No letters.
Bubbles. Bubbles are still there.
The bubbles are still there. I'm on the
Now they
Paul
went
Reindl
away.
page. Oh, they did go away. I'm
Okay.
still on your page where it says PR, Paul Reindl. But I have no type now. I put
that's
one letter.
pretty-
Now I have an A. There's a letter in there.
Yeah,
Is the
it's-
bubbles back?
Bubble.
No bubbles? Yes, bubbles?
Bubbles are back.
Bubbles are back.
So it's pretty
Okay.
good.
Okay.
So we got that, and then I think they're gonna keep the colors, the green bubbles or the blue bubbles. You will still have that, but it looks like Apple is trying to bridge the two sides.
Why do Android people feel so superior?
I don't. I have no
What
idea.
is the point of? And what is the point of it? Just is it a better?
I don't know. I don't understand.
I've had
Maybe
an
that's
iPhone
why I'm an iPhone
for
person.
a long time.
Yeah.
And everything is synced up the
I miss
way I
my
like it.
I miss my gold Nokia that I had. It was my favorite phone I ever
Like
had.
I've got an Apple Watch, I have an Apple laptop. Like I like how it all is synced together.
Sure.
But I do know a lot of people that have Google Pixels and
You
stuff.
do?
Oh
I've
yeah.
never
And
seen
they're
one
like,
with a
it's
Google
amazing.
Pixel.
The
And
cameras.
those commercials where the cameras like make everybody smile and like take people out of the background. Those are intriguing to me when I see those commercials, but I don't really take enough pictures to care that much.
All right. And finally, Snoop Dogg was in the news yesterday with an announcement that made me question a lot of people that I guess took it at face value and
a bunch
were
of saps. I
Oh my
think.
God!
Yeah, a bunch of saps.
So
did you see this news, Ben?
I did.
I'll put it out.
Me
here
and
on
my
the,
buddy Snoop.
on the stream. Snoop, yeah, right. He said, posted a graphic on social media. Says it's him holding his hands like he's praying. He says, "After much consideration and conversation with my family, I've decided to give up smoke. Please respect my privacy at this time."
Now, if he quit smoking pot, that's it. That's an actual news story, and I think it's quite newsworthy.
Sorry about that, Ben.
As the rumor goes, I mean, he smokes from wake up to sleep, and it never stops all day long. He's got a professional. I think he pays him $80,000 a year to just roll his blunts for him. He follows him around.
Yeah, that guy's
and
out of
he
a
just
job.
rolls him. Yeah, what does he do now? I think what this is, and I think if you look through it, I think he's got a new edible line coming. I think there's a new edible or drinkable.
He's a master of PR.
He's a master.
Like
at
vape,
it.
maybe is
Yeah.
that count
I
as
just
smoke?
said I'm giving up this type of.
Now, I also thought, how old is Snoop now? About 50?
I think he's older than that.
55?
Snoop Dogg.
At some point, you got to be concerned
52.
about the lung cancer and the health issues of smoking
I
that
mean,
much
Willie
over
Nelson's
your life.
90 years old and still smokes all day, every day.
Fair enough, but you definitely
Smoking anything does it wears you down after
yeah,
a while.
I mean, at some point, for your health, you may need to consider an alternative to the smoking all the time. I've never smoked anything, so I don't really know, but
you've never smoked anything.
Nothing.
Never.
A cigar?
No. Never taken an inhale.
You've never
a
had a
puff of
cigar
anything.
on a golf course?
No.
That's wild.
I don't believe you. I think maybe it could be like a Super Bowl commercial.
Not one
This
Virginia
is-
Slim in my
This is
life.
the time of year where you'll see marketing campaigns kind of starting to build up momentum
true.
towards a Super Bowl ad. But if you just
Oh, they said Anthony says he's quit before, but it didn't take.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Shocker.
So I do wonder.
I don't buy that it's just him quitting
I bet
cannabis entirely. There's something behind it.
I bet it's edibles.
Yeah.
I bet he's doing the edible line.
The way he
I
phrased
wouldn't be
it,
surprised.
he didn't say I'm quitting cannabis.
Right.
He said I'm quitting smoke.
Smoke. Okay. Thank you, Paulie. I'm looking forward to his
After
line.
much consideration and conversation with my family, I've decided to give up smoke.
Smoke.
Maybe that's a barbecue thing, and he's not going to be smoking his meets anymore.
I said
going to go more with the.
I meant liquid smoke.
He's going to be sous videing all of his meats from now on. No more smoke. All right, it's 9:15. Means it's time for us to give out the next name in our biggest fan contest. If you hear your name called, you'll have 10 minutes to call us back. 833-288-0973. If you do so, you'll be put into the hopper for our grand prize drawing at the end of the contest. 20 tickets to a 2024 Padres game in our Odyssey suite to watch with your friends and all of the fans, hosts as well. You register at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. But today's biggest fan, this morning's biggest fan, Carlos Rangel.
Oh, beloved Carlos.
You are up. You've got 10 minutes to call us, 833-288-0973. I'll be highly disappointed if you don't make it in. Call now, Carlos, and we'll have another name for you at 11:30 during the Coaches Show, 5 o'clock this afternoon on Gwynn and Chris, and we'll be back with more Ben and Woods after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
There's a ton of love going on in the YouTube feed today. Thank you so much to C20 Moreno. Just gifted 5 memberships to the feed, which is amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
very
you guys
sweet.
very, very much.
Also had
sweet.
Carlos call in. Our
Yep.
biggest fan is now qualified for our grand prize drawing, so congratulations. Heading into the weekend, we'll have another week of names next week, so if you didn't get your name called this week, don't despair. There are still opportunities for you both today and next week in our biggest fan contest still coming up.
Got a hot date with my wife today, an afternoon date. Guess where we're going?
Jersey Mike's.
The grocery store. We're going to the grocery store to get our food for Thanksgiving. Now, we are going to a massive Thanksgiving at her mom's house. I think there's like 50 people.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's huge. It's going to be really,
now
really
I feel
big.
left out.
Yeah, well, you'll be working. You're invited.
Yeah, we're doing a claim jumper at Channel 10 Thanksgiving.
That's kind of the same.
It's nice that they ordered us some food while we're working.
That's
that
true.
night,
You work every Thanksgiving?
Not every Thanksgiving. Steve and I generally trade off Thanksgivings.
So you'll go in what time to what time?
Like 3 to 11 or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got the Thanksgiving football games to cover.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah, there's sports for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely sports. Yeah. But we go overkill. We're ordering, so we have to make some dishes for this event, which is fine. I'll make my
sweet potatoes with marshmallows on top.
No, I do.
Yeah.
Guess what I make every year?
I know what you make. You've told us this before.
Deviled eggs.
No, she makes them for me
you,
specifically.
Your green beans are legendary.
Casserole?
Yes. And I just followed the recipe, but everybody loves my green bean casserole.
Isn't that the greatest feeling when it's not a home.
I know I didn't whip
homemade
I didn't
recipe that's been
invent
passed
this.
down in the woods or Reindl or Higgins household for generations.
Tulauza.
Nestle Tulauza.
I use the Campbell soup recipe. The one
Google.
Yeah. No, it's on the back of the French
Right, it's
onions.
right there, yeah.
The onions. So we're gonna go to Vaughn's today and do a lot of shopping for our food, and then we'll cook. But we also order a full Thanksgiving meal for just ourselves from Seaside. We order the whole big meal. So because before, when you go to people's houses for Thanksgiving, I always feel like a turd leaving with leftovers. I just do. I'm not that guy. I don't like to be like, I don't want to wrap a bunch of stuff up and take people's Tupperware out. I feel like a louse or something.
Bring your own Tupperware.
So no, I'm not going to do that either. I don't want to you guys done here because I'm going to take a load of these mashed potatoes.
For the most part, though,
it's
people
never enough.
There's no way we're going to be able to eat all this, so you should take some of it with
but
you.
You never get enough. There's never enough. You get maybe a plate out of the whole thing. This way, I can eat 4 or 5 days. Turkey and dressing and the whole bit, man.
I saw that you can get a full Cajun turkey from Popeyes.
It's the best turkey you will ever eat.
Really?
In your life. I'm not joking.
You know this.
I've had it.
Wow.
From Popeyes. No BS. It is the best turkey I have ever had, bar none. Turkey gets a little, after, you're like, I can do a little bit of it. Not that one, dude. Specifically, the Cajun turkey from Popeyes.
Non-sponsor endorsement.
Non-sponsor endorsement.
Woods.
It's ungodly.
I didn't know you had any experience. I just saw an ad for it, and I go, I didn't know they did turkeys.
It's ungodly good. It's ungodly good. Whatever they do to it, they shoot it full of something, Cajun spices or whatever. It is so effing good. It'll make you. It'll make you cry. It's that good. It's like the best turkey I've ever had.
All right, well, there's an ad for you that they didn't pay for right there.
No,
that
one's on the house.
They may not have any left at this point. I know we're less than a week out from Thanksgiving. If you haven't already started making some plans, it may be too late for certain options.
It's so good. You got to try it if you haven't yet.
We don't usually have a guest in our final segment of the week. Just kind of worked out this way, but we did want to talk about the Oakland A's move to Las Vegas and the reaction specifically up in the Bay Area yesterday and today. So coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to be joined by ABC sports anchor Casey Pratt from up in the Bay Area, who has been documenting some of the fans' reaction and what's been going on after yesterday. MLB owners did approve the request of John Fisher, the owner of the A's, to move that team to Las Vegas, but not until officially 2028. That's how long it's going to take to build that new stadium on the Strip. So next year they're definitely playing in the Coliseum, but then the lease expires at the Oakland Coliseum.
It's such a
and they'll have
dirty-
3 more years, 2025, 2026, and 2027, where they're still trying to work out whether they're going to play at the AAA park in Vegas. I heard someone say yesterday maybe Sacramento at their AAA park. There may be some games there. Oracle Park in San Francisco maybe host some of their home games. They're going to be a team, a nomad team,
nomad
possibly for like 3 full seasons.
It's so awful.
Not to mention what happens next year when they're already gone, yet still playing in Oakland. I mean, will they get hate from their own fans if there is any fans in the stands in Oakland next year? What's that environment going to be like? It was horrifically bad this year, and that was before they officially announced they were going to Vegas. What's it going to be like next year at the Coliseum for the Oakland A's for an entire 81-game home schedule of a team that has said we are out the door already? It's almost unprecedented. I know the Raiders, they announced they were leaving Oakland, and it wasn't that bad, but Raiders fans, I think, are different.
They're built different.
Raiders fans are more of a national fan base to begin with. They've moved all over the place already. This is different, I think, for Oakland A's fans.
Yeah, nobody's been on this more than Casey Pratt. I mean, he's a ABC 7 Bay Area reporter. Nobody's been on it more than him. Very interested to ask him about what's next and just all of the tumultuous behavior that's been going on in Oakland right now. I feel bad for them. I do have a word of caution for Casey as well.
All right, we will get to that coming up next. Final segment of Ben and Woods This Week ahead on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. A little breaking Padres news is here on a Friday morning, actually, just confirming the reports from yesterday out of The Athletic, but just got a release from the San Diego Padres. They have appointed one of their owners, Eric Kutsenda, as new chairman and interim control person, succeeding his longtime friend and business partner, Peter Seidler. And here's the quote, Woods, that I'd imagine the Padres fans will be interested in hearing from. This is the first thing, really, we've ever heard from Kutsenda. And here's his quote written down in this news release. With a heavy heart, I humbly accept this appointment in honor of my dear friend Peter Seidler, who I had the privilege of working with for almost 30 years. I am excited to partner with Eric Grupner and A.J. Preller to help guide the Padres forward in fulfillment of Peter's vision. That vision includes the Padres remaining as a family asset for generations to come and is anchored in Peter's dedication to the fans and community of San Diego. Our North Star remains the same, to win a World Series championship for the city of San Diego.
Let's ride.
Let's go, man.
I'm in.
Ready to run through a wall.
The words are excellent. Obviously, we will follow up and see what the actions are going to be over the next weeks and months and years. But at least for now, he is the control person and chairman of the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, I like that quote a lot. All right, let's ride. That's exactly right, Paulie.
I'm okay with that for now.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's check traffic, and then when we come back, we're going to follow up on the Oakland A's to Las Vegas story with Casey Pratt from the Bay Area coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
They're closing the clearing stage on southbound side of the 805 right before La Jolla Village Drive. That is over to the right shoulder. Also, eastbound 8 College Avenue off-ramp. Some malfunctioning traffic signals causing a bit of confusion. That's always a joy. And watch out for large black tarp wafting around in lanes on South 5 Coastline right before Del Mar Heights Road. Also keep in mind, guys, depending on where you are this weekend, you are going to see a lot of folks walking around wearing pink for the Susan G. Komen 3-day. Kicked off in Del Mar around 7 o'clock this morning, travels south through Torrey Pines, La Jolla, PB, OB, making its final destination in Little Italy on Sunday. So please be extra alert, be extra careful on those routes. Look out for those folks dressed in pink, walking for a great cause. Give your horn a little honk, give them a little support there. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So yesterday, when I heard the quotes from John Fisher and Rob Manfred, I even played them on my sportscast. There was no path forward. There was no solution in Oakland. It was almost
we tried
PTSD.
It really
did
was.
everything we could. It sounded so much like Dean Spanos and Roger Goodell from 7.5 years ago talking about San Diego, and it rang just as hollow yesterday as it did back then.
Casey, get ready for a lot of blaming of the fans.
Yeah.
It's
That's
the
right.
fans' fault.
Yeah, when it happened. And joining us right now to talk about the Oakland A's move or upcoming move to Las Vegas is Casey Pratt from ABC7 up in the Bay Area. Casey, good morning. Welcome to Ben and Woods.
What's up, guys? And I'll start with a positive note because I know this is going to get pretty somber, but I just learned that your show is the show that my father-in-law listens to on his way to golf. So big props for you guys.
That's amazing.
Hello, Casey's father-in-law. Have a good round today.
Yes.
On a Friday.
I wonder where
Yes,
he's...
Gary is an exceptional golfer.
Hit him straight.
Where is Gary playing today is what I want to know.
I don't actually know that. Now I'm on the spot.
Somewhere
I'll find
good.
out.
Maybe I'll see him out at Goat Hill later this afternoon.
Well, Casey, yeah, Ben makes the point that it is very reminiscent of things that happened here in San Diego. It's again, unfortunately, it's nothing really new to the Bay Area either, man. You guys have been through the ringer there, but this one's different. Baseball's different. It just is different than football. There's 81 home games. The A's have had some really, really great players, some great teams come through. It's certainly a blow. The thing that got me yesterday is I still see fans saying, well, we're not giving up yet, and we're going to do this and that, and we're going to wear these T-shirts, and we're going to protest. And
That's never worked.
It's never worked. It's not going to work. It's such a bummer. And you want to tell them, don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy on a team that doesn't care about you. But that's kind of the process, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and I can't ever fault A's fans for this. And you guys just mentioned it coming into the segment, too. Get ready to hear all the blame of the fans. This isn't on the fans. And what they've done is is extraordinary. Like the reverse boycotts, the sell shirts that are now in Cooperstown, everything they've done. But I will counter your point really quickly, because this just happened in Sacramento, and they did win, and they did keep their Kings. So there are some parallels there to, a fan movement, keeping a professional sports team on the way out the door. The Kings were actually basically agreed to be sold to a guy in Seattle before they ended up staying in Sac. But they had a much better commissioner, and the mayor of the city at the time was a former NBA player, so he had a lot of connections, and they managed to pull it off. Out here, it's not looking great, but it's not completely over yet, which is one of the interesting aspects of this.
So what do you think next season looks like? We were talking about this earlier. They're going to play in the Oakland Coliseum again. So 81 home games. We saw what happened last season even before the move was official. How is this going to work? I mean, is this going to just be a constant black eye for baseball every single day that the A's play a home game next year?
Yeah, I think it will be. A's fans are already talking about boycotting the home opener, which is one of the only games that people actually show up to at the Oakland Coliseum these days. And again, that's not the fans' fault. It's because the owner's never invested in this team ever since he bought it. The only big contract the A's have handed out was for a San Diego native, Eric Chavez, way back in the day. And that was even before John Fisher, the current owner, was in charge. So, I think that it's going to be a constant black eye for Major League Baseball. It's already been a very, very bad PR play for Major League Baseball. And, to think that they unanimously approved this deal yesterday while also not having any idea where this team is going to play in the 2025, 2026, and 2027 seasons it's crazy to me. How you could unanimously approve something without having virtually any information, even down to a rendering of the ballpark. They don't even have a rendering of this ballpark. They don't know if it's going to have a retractable roof, if it's going to have a fixed dome. They don't know how they're going to pay for it. It's just wild that they unanimously approved this at this time.
Talking to Casey Pratt from ABC 7 in the Bay Area. I do. My heart also goes out to the players. Now, I get it. They're making a good living to go out and play baseball every day, but I couldn't help thinking about those guys and the young players, young players and some talent too, that the A's have accumulated over the years, young controllable talent as they like to do. But I couldn't help thinking, what is that like for them? Have you had a chance to talk to any of the players on or off the record?
Yeah, actually, I just did about an hour-long conversation with Trevor May, the A's closer who just retired.
Yeah, we had him on too. He was great.
This. Yeah, he's phenomenal. And the funny thing for me is, these guys are young. You're taught not to speak up against ownership and your bosses if you want to have a job, so they can't really say much. But what I found interesting is, I cover all the teams out here, but obviously the stadium situation has been one of my main things for a long time. And when I go to the Coliseum and I introduce myself to some of the young players coming up, they always go, "Oh yeah, I know who you are. Follow your stuff." They're paying attention, but
yeah,
they
can't
are. Really say anything. And I don't want to get too fired up here, but it sucks for the players. They have no idea what their future is. They have no idea where their home is. But you know what? It sucks really bad for the employees of the team.
Yes.
This is purely on the A's owner and the team president. Everybody else, when I show up at the Coliseum, everybody else, I'm talking from the security guards to the players to the PR staff to the grounds crew, is these guys are dapping me up in secret, oh, keep going, keep exposing this, because these people are all going to lose their jobs, or they just have no idea what their future holds. And it's sad. And it's all because of one rich guy who doesn't want to basically take any money out of his own wallet. All he wants is public funds, and help. And everybody's future is uncertain in Oakland. And all we know right now is that they're going to play at the Coliseum till the end of the 2024 season. And after that, no one has a clue where they're going to play, including the team themselves.
And Casey, I've seen a couple of tweets from the mayor as well that said, "Look, we've tried. We have have they not? They've offered help, right? Isn't it one of those cases like we had heard from a friend that knows Dean Spanos that Dean did not care. He said, "I want to be a big shot in L.A. I don't care about being in San Diego. I want to go to L.A." You then flip it on the fans, and we couldn't get this vote done or that vote done or the stadium fixed. I get the feeling that all John Fisher sees is just, sevens across the slot machine. Literally, just like I'm going to hit the jackpot when we get there. If I can just ride this out for another 4 years, I don't care if they build me a new stadium or give me money. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, and so there's a couple layers to this, and the Spanos thing is very similar because, my wife is a huge Charger fan, and she was livid when they left. She barely even watches the team anymore. So John Fisher, I believe, really did want to get it done here. And I think that what happened was the A's pissed away so many years on Fremont and San Jose, and then they chose a site in Oakland that they really didn't even have any negotiating rights for, and they got kicked out of that immediately because the college that owned the site was like, yeah, we don't want to do this. What are you even talking about? That wasted another year. By the time they finally picked Howard Terminal, the waterfront ballpark they were supposed to build, that was 2018. And guys, you may have noticed something happened in 2020 that kind of shut the whole world down and threw the entire economy into a tailspin. Inflation, everything. Interest rates shot up. And so what the A's were trying to do was build a $6 billion development here. Not just a ballpark like they're doing in Vegas, a tiny 9-acre ballpark. They were trying to build an entire $6 billion development. It would have been one of the largest in the history of our state. So when the whole world shut down and the economy went upside down, it really kind of made it so that the financials didn't work anymore. If they said, okay, let's just build the ballpark, we'll figure out the rest later, they could have done that easily. Now, they asked the city of Oakland for about $350 million in help for the offsite area around the ballpark. The city of Oakland raised over $400 million, more than they asked for. They got another $500 million to help them pay for the on-site costs where the ballpark would actually be. The city of Oakland stepped up. They are almost offering $1 billion. Yet, it wasn't good enough because I think the owner ran out of money. Now, he owns the Gap. I don't know if you've checked out Gap stock lately, but it is in the tank. So what ended up happening was the A's were about to be off revenue sharing at the end of 2024 or at the start of 2024. And they were like, we can't afford to lose revenue sharing. We need a deal now. And that's why they went quick, fast, and cheap in Las Vegas.
So similar, though, to the Chargers who, they could have gotten a stadium done in Mission Valley where San Diego State eventually built one. People wanted it there. They wanted to be able to tailgate. Chargers, though, insisted on a downtown, no tailgate, no parking, plan with a convention center combination that was not something that the city even wanted. They forced that to a vote. It just never made any sense. And then when that didn't work, they didn't say, okay, let's go back and do it where everyone wants it. They said, no, we're moving to Los Angeles. And it was our friend Joe Sheehan who had the great line. I don't know if you saw this.
Oh, yeah, the born on third.
Peter Seidler and John Fisher. And both men were born on third base. Peter Seidler decided to steal home. John Fisher just decided to steal. And that's what this story seems like it comes down to today, Casey.
Yeah, that was an absolute mic drop line, by the way. When I read it, I was floored because Peter Seidler is an example of everything you could ever want in an owner and more. Like, I lived there. I went to college there when they built Petco Park. I was at the very first game there. It's a beautiful ballpark. And you see what happens when an owner invests in the roster. The people respond. There's a waiting list for season tickets there. It's the polar opposite of everything that A's owner John Fisher stands for, and that's why it's so frustrating. And to the Chargers note, okay, look, now the A's are going to Las Vegas. Nobody in Las Vegas wants the A's. People in Las Vegas want Major League Baseball in the form of an expansion team.
Yeah.
They do not want this team. They do not want this ownership group. They want nothing to do with it. Just like the Chargers, who are now in L.A., they're probably the third, not even probably, they're definitely the third most popular NFL team in L.A., because the Raiders are far more popular than the Chargers in L.A.
Yeah, so are the Steelers and the Packers and the Dolphins and the Chiefs and the Broncos.
They might not even be top three in L.A. So the whole idea of leaving San Diego, where you're beloved, to go to a market where you are so much of an afterthought that it's not even funny is exactly what the A's are doing right now. They're going to Vegas where nobody wants them, and they're going to be like the third, fourth, fifth, maybe 10th fiddle if you factor in all the other things that are going on in Vegas, like the residencies, the shows, the Sphere.
Yes.
I mean, like there's so many other options there, and nobody wants this team. So it just shows you kind of the stupidity and greed of these sports leagues. Sometimes they don't give a crap about the fans. If they did, the Chargers would be in San Diego and the A's would be staying in Oakland. What they want is money and greed, and that is where I have a problem with this, because here is why the A's are going to end up in Las Vegas. MLB wants gambling money. They don't care about the rest of the issues, and that is why they've presented absolutely no justification or information. I mean, seriously, like if you're listening right now, look it up. Try to figure out anything about this stadium deal. There is no information out there. And the real reason is because they're doing it for the gambling money, and they just can't come out and say that.
Dirty.
Casey,
So dirty,
great
man.
stuff. Great way to wrap up our week as well. Appreciate your time. Have a good weekend. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and again, I have so much love for you guys out in San Diego.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, buddy.
To the Chargers.
And Gary, have a
I
great
hope-
round of golf.
Yeah, tell Gary
I hope
we said
Gary's
hello.
having a great round.
Yeah.
You guys are his chosen show. He loves you guys.
I love it.
Casey Pratt from the Bay Area,
He's
ABC 7, with some good information and good stuff there on the Oakland A's. They don't want them in Vegas, just like no one in LA wanted the Chargers.
Yeah, they want baseball. Make no mistake, they want baseball. It's not a knock on the people of Las Vegas. They want baseball, but they want their own team.
Yeah.
They don't want to bring the A's and John Fisher, who is not a great owner. You don't want to add that guy to the roster there in Las Vegas, which is a really burgeoning sports market. So makes perfect sense to me, man.
All right, well, we did some positivity today, spiritual mouthwash figure. Let's end on a positive note on this week.
I missed it.
With things Ben likes.
I like good, juicy, sweet strawberries.
I like a good marching band. I like a good thin pancake.
I like a Nickelback song or two.
I like a barbecue chicken pizza. I really like those seeds. I like a midnight buffet. I kind of like the smell of soft scrub. I like more of a small derriere. I like cake.
I like Ed Sheeran.
I like both a hamburger and a cheeseburger. I like clocks. I like how I've kind of set up my life. I like grasshopper pie.
Oh no, I like it creamy.
I like good, firm banana.
I like just looking out at the sea. I like eating.
I like moist.
I like curry.
I like big butts.
I like fried Brussels sprouts. I like more of a firm filling. I like corn.
I like Nordstrom.
I do like musicals.
And I like pepperoni. I like nice hotels. I like Nick getting a start today. I like nuts. I like Steph Curry. I like that song.
I like Squirt.
I like sake. I like San Diego State.
I like Straight Up, Paula Abdul.
I like the beef and broccoli. I like to mix it up. I like science experiments. I like that song. I like the crispiness of the waffle. I really like cheese. I like the little lunch meat. I like very straight lines. I like cannelloni. I like a well-crafted headline. I like brown sugar. I like maps. I'll say I like Justin Turner.
He really likes things that are firm and crispy.
I do like.
He likes it firm and crispy.
And big
Textural
bushy
elements.
red beards.
Yeah.
Good textural elements always
And Squirt. Who
make
doesn't?
me happy.
I like that Casey's father-in-law listens to the Ben and Woods
Appreciate
program. I
that.
like
and
that
he's a
lot.
golfer.
Yeah.
And he's named Gary.
And he's named Gary, like my
your-
dad.
Like your dad.
Try to play some golf with my dad, Gary, tomorrow.
Outstanding.
Yep.
Maybe you'll run into Casey's
Are you
father-in-law,
you want to play with
Gary.
us in the morning early? If we play?
I've got a goat tournament if it doesn't rain tomorrow morning.
It's supposed to rain tomorrow?
It is supposed
Son
to
of a
rain
bee.
tomorrow morning.
All right.
Unfortunately, that is the current forecast here in San Diego.
Really? I don't like to play in the rain.
I know.
You can do the things I don't like. I don't like playing in the rain.
We could do a whole
do a
segment of
month.
don't likes for Woods as well. All right,
I don't like omelets anymore.
Want to thank all the tier ones who helped us get through this week. Your Peter Seidler stories, what you shared, your emotions, your spiritual mouthwash today was absolutely incredible. You guys are the absolute best out there, and we couldn't have better listeners. There's just no way.
There's no
no
chance.
show in America that has a better community than we've got here on Ben and Woods. 100%. That is it for us. Coach is coming up next. We'll be back, Woods and I, on Monday. Paulie's going to
Have
a bachelor party. Have fun.
Have fun in Denver.
We'll see you on
I
Tuesday, Paulie, for our executive producer and imaging director. Woods already out of the stream. I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great weekend. From all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long.